All right, I wanted to get a stream set up here real quick to just kind of go over what we're seeing across the area with you guys. So far, staying void of the severe thunderstorm warnings, or tornado warnings for that matter, but we are watching this one up around Benton County. You can see a lot of action happening around that area, just east of the Outway and west of the Ashland community, right over Lamar Road. Now, this is out of our viewing area, so that's why we're not cutting into anything for regular programming, but I wanted to go ahead and talk through this with you guys. Whenever we look at the data for it, I mean, definitely seeing a strong couplet associated with it, moving in that northeast motion. It could clip parts of Tippah County, talking about the Walnut area. Need to be go ahead and get to that safe place because, as you can see, long track with this as we move it going in that northeast motion, extending it out. You can see barely missing the Walnut area, and honestly, I kind of agree with that, moving just north of there, but we could see it moving a little bit more towards it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a track including Walnut to give a relative time frame on this. And actually, while I'm saying this, let me make sure my timing is right with this. So give me one moment to time this out, as it's been going for a decent amount of time. As you can see earlier on, about an hour ago, just starting to flare up around Sardis, the Sardis Lake area. From there, just picking up steam and building into this tornado warning. So give me one second to measure this and make sure the speed is right on it. So I would say we're looking at about 50 miles an hour for the tornado warned storm. Let me adjust that, as we were looking at 40 mile an hour earlier today. So 50, that looks good. Okay, so let me go ahead and zoom in on this and get you guys an updated storm track and walk through this as it moves closer to Tippah County, moving through Benton County right now. Again, nothing confirmed as of right now, and that's a great thing. Haven't gotten reports of any damage, so far we're remaining in the clear, but still this is a rotating storm, and this is still a strong storm as it's moving through parts of northern Benton County and northern Tippah County. You can see Canaan about 1202, Brody by 1206, Rogers Springs 1216, Brownfield 1219, Poor by 1220, and Middleton by 1221. I'm going to move it a little bit more south there towards, let me adjust this here real quick, where it includes Walnut, just because I want you guys to stay safe as well. So give me one moment as this moves at about 50 miles an hour. You can see Walnut there at about 1217. So any folks that are in Walnut, go ahead and be getting to that safe place just in case, and hopefully this stays void of you guys and stays more towards the north. Looking at latest data that we have, that rotation's still strong. I mean, you can see it. You don't even need me to point it out to you. You can see those bright returns coming out of there with that main couplet that we're watching. I'm going to see how this lines up. And it is still relatively broad as of now. Looking at how that lines up, it is still a bit ahead of reflectivity. Could be a little bit of just waiting on the latest scans. But looking at debris signature, we have this thing called side lobe interaction, and that's what I'm worried is happening here. I mean, I say worried. I hope it's happening here because otherwise that would be some significant debris. But with it being between two radar sites, it can be tough to tell whether that is actual debris or if that is going to be side lobe interaction. So hopefully just side lobe, and so far I think that's what I'm hearing from National Weather Service. Let me clear all this out here real quick. Okay. Yeah, they don't have anything so far on it, but you can see that starting to, I mean, latest scans, it does not look like it's lining up at all with the reflectivity, which is a great sign, but honestly, still a bit of a ways away. Let me just make sure. I'm just going through comments here to make sure. Um, so overall, what we're seeing with this line is that the frontal boundary is out towards our north and west. You can kind of see where that line is. Let me see if my mouse will show it. Kind of follow it right there, where those storms are initiating. Now, honestly, this is the unfortunate thing is that's really where it'll remain over the next 72 hours out there, dare say. So it's going to allow that forcing mechanism to continue to be in that same general area. Well, whenever you have an environment that is pretty primed for severe weather to happen, talking about dew points in the upper 60s, we'll see that right here whenever it loads in. But dew points in the mid to upper 60s, you have low-level shear, which is winds rotating as you go up into the atmosphere. You have high instability values, allowing those storms to not just generate, but strengthen over time. I mean, you see that all across Northeast Mississippi. 70 in Durant, 68 Winona, 67 in Bruce, 67 New Albany. So all you need is that cell to form, and then it enters into an environment that is pretty primed. I mean, we saw where this entered through about Sardis Lake, that cell now producing a tornado warning, not producing a tornado confirmed just yet, but strengthening as we speak. So it doesn't take much for these cells to initiate and build over time. And looking at latest scans, just want to keep an eye on this one as it moves closer to Tippah County. We're continuing to see that rotation, pretty strong, I will say. And again, I'm hoping that's just side lobe interaction. So waiting to see if okay. I have some people asking about the severe weather threat for Oxford, Mississippi. So hopefully they'll be entering or giving us a little bit more information, but kind of the same boat. I'm just going to tell you guys that it's in that same primed environment. And so where those cells happen, it does not take much to get them going. And we've been talking about that all week with that frontal boundary, just barely out towards our north and west. I mean, we saw what happened in Arkansas, and our thoughts and prayers are with those that are impacted. Some massive storms, massive tornadoes formed, and so hopefully that doesn't enter into our area, but we know the environment is very, very unstable. So the rotation is actually headed more towards Tennessee. You can see overall Alabama on the east side by a good bit. So this is going to go in that northeast direction into Tennessee, staying south of Jackson, Tennessee, and south of this other warning, but moving just north, I would say, of Tippah County and Alcorn County, might clip the northwest section of Tippah County. That's what I'm tracking because we may need to go live here in a moment if this continues to rotate. But I wanted to go ahead and get on the live to talk to you guys about this as it moves closer to Tippah County and closer to the Tennessee state line. So looking at the latest ones, Canaan 1203, or about 5-6 minutes away. So if you know anyone in that area, go ahead and tell them. Now's the time. Let's get to that safe place. Brody 1207, a little bit later. You have about 10 minutes. And then Roger Springs, Brownfield, Middleton, going to be beyond the line, talking about 1217, 1220, and 1223. So I want to talk to some folks down here. If you're living along 72 in northern Tippah County, that's definitely the area, especially northwest corner. That's really the area that needs to be sheltering right now. Just go ahead and get to that safe place. This warning has yet to reach you, but more than likely they will extend it, especially if we're getting returns like what we've been seeing. So just continue to monitor that. So I see Boonville and Tishomingo County. And as of now, the main threats are going to be north and west of you for now. And for now is the key word because we can see that these cells happen and it doesn't take much to get them going. We have one northeast Lafayette County. It's going to enter a primed environment. We have some action down in Grenada and Yalobusha County. If those enter the right field, those could definitely develop in that northeast direction. And then you're talking about reaching Boonville. But I mean, still a long ways from developing into anything like that. I'm just using that as an example to show you that it does not take much in this environment that we're in. Union County, the same thing that I was talking about. And so, yeah, Delaney is going to be a long couple days, and I do apologize. We knew it going into it that it was going to be 4 days of just a messy environment. And fortunately, so far, we've just had a few hail producers, and I know that people got some massive hail. We're talking about inch, maybe inch and a half for some places. So definitely doing its part with that, but have stayed void of any tornado warnings so far, or confirmed tornadoes, should I say. So looking at the latest scans, this is definitely going to be a large hail producer. I want to say that that is still side lobe interaction, but we are not far from this being produced. So they're saying ping pong ball sized hail with this. And one thing that I like to do when it comes to hail development, and this is still a few scans away, but we have a general hail size with this, and I don't think it's going to load in right now. But ping pong ball size hail, you're talking about anywhere from an inch to a little bit above an inch. So that's relatively what we saw today. So we know what that's like, and we know that it can be a little bit intimidating, a little bit damaging, maybe putting a few dents in our vehicles. Delaney, I'm hoping they just fear the suspenders and head on out of here so we never have to deal with severe weather again. I know a lot of people would agree with me on that. Okay, yeah, we can mention that. So looking at overall risk categories that we're under, Let me go ahead and pull that up. So this is starting at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. You can see that level 3 extending basically right where that warning is, but Prentiss County, Tishomingo County under level 2, Union County level 2, Lafayette County level 2, and then level 1's extending into Chickasaw, Monroe, Itawamba, Choctaw, Montgomery County. So that's starting at 6 a.m. on our. Oh, actually, this has been updated. I apologize. Hang on a second. This might be glitching with the days, so I apologize. That was for Thursday morning at 6 a.m. up until Friday morning at 6 a.m. This is for overnight until 6 a.m. So, yeah, Angel, it's going to be a hectic storm for sure. If you're in northern Tippa right now, go ahead and get to that safe place because this storm is right just northwest of you, probably going to clip far northwest sections of Tippa County. So, let me go ahead and extend this out on a storm track, and I'm going to talk about a plan with Chris. Do what?
I was told by Pat earlier today to come talk to you after I run my last break for Nightland, which is usually when I leave to see if you still need me.
I do still need you.
Okay.
So we have a tornado warned storm, and we might need to cut in here in the next a couple minutes. Let me see if they're extending it. Okay, there it is. We gotta go.
Okay.
Give me a second to get all this on.
Okay, I'll put replay on.
Hey, far northwest sections of Benton County. Do you want me to just solo it? Tippa, yeah, yeah. Do you want me to just solo it?
Yeah, go and solo it.
Okay. I got you. We'll do. All right, bye. All right, let's go. Yeah, let's run it. Meteorologist Gabe Manning here with a look at the latest. We're seeing a tornado warning up in Benton County, moving through parts of northwest Tippa County. Now, this is until 12:45 in the morning. So far, nothing confirmed, but this is definitely a strong rotating storm. Have been talking about it on the live stream for the past couple of minutes, and this has continued to just stay strong, stay organized, and we are seeing that move through Canaan right now in that northeast direction. Now, you can see that updated warning, including parts of northern Tippa County, all the way into northern Alcorn County as well. Now that was kind of a covering their bases with this, as it has moved in that northwest fashion, expecting it to move across the Tennessee state line as it moves into Tippa County. So that northwest section is what I'm really watching for, where that couplet will go through, and putting a track on that as it moves at about 50 miles an hour. You can see that exact track that they're following with the warning. New Canaan by 12:03, we're talking about right over the top of you right now. Go ahead and get to that sturdy structure, get to that safe place if you have not done so already, and get where you need to go. Brody, you have about 3 minutes, 2 minutes now, so hopefully you're in that safe place as we speak. Brownfield, 12:19, on there towards the Middleton area, 12:21, and well into parts of Tennessee. Now, looking at it a little bit tighter, we have seen this continue to strengthen and produce large hail. It's one of the things that we see with this is updrafts, produce tornadoes, but also produce large hail, and we've gotten reports of about ping pong ball sized hail, a little over an inch. So this is definitely a strong thunderstorm, similar to ones we saw today, except this is looking stronger and more conducive to produce a tornado. Just a very unstable environment that it's in, and it's looking more and more likely, as you can see, with the energy just continuing to cycle in, and that wrapping around of moisture, as you can see, wrapping around and that ingesting that energy into that main couplet, and that's where we're getting that rotation taking place. Now, I want to look at latest scans to make sure that there's nothing to confirm so far. You can see where it's ingesting that energy, matching that up with the rotation. You can see matching up pretty well over the New Canaan area. But whenever we look at that debris mode, you can see that's a lot of side lobing energy. So it's entering into the storm, but not showing a clear and defined debris ball. Now that's a good thing. We don't want anything confirming a tornado, but gives us a better idea. And I do have chat up open right here just to make sure that we aren't missing anything debris wise, anything from our North Mississippi storm chasers. Haven't heard anything so far, and so that's a great sign. Hopefully that continues to be the case, and hopefully this continues to weaken out. But aside from that, I mean, we're seeing strong wind returns out of this with those bright greens and bright reds anywhere from 40 to 50 miles an hour across the leading edge of that storm. To clear it out, just looking at that, and along with the hail size, I mean, this is definitely a beast of a storm. Hopefully it just stays away from producing a tornado. Now, I'm going to do one more track with a few more of just the focus on those communities that it will be impacting as it moves in that northeast direction. You can see northern Tippah County included in that. We're talking about Wesley Chapel, 1206. So, I mean, that's right now. If you're close to that area, hopefully you have your safe place and you have that plan in place already. Hopewell Presbyterian Church, 1208. 1213, Oakland School, Brownfield. We've been mentioning you several times now on the live stream and now on here. And we're talking about 1219, Brownfield United Methodist Church, about 1219 as well, in the poor community, 1220. So this is going to be a rotating thunderstorm that looks more and more conducive to produce a tornado. So far, staying void of that, 1215 or 1206 right now is the time. And this warning, the first warning, expected to expire around 1215. You can see as I expand things out, that other warning that they added as an extension lasting until 1245. Now, that does include parts of northern Tippah County. That does include parts of northern Alcorn County. So I want to do a storm track right here on that rotation that shows it moving into the northern Alcorn County area, just if it does take that southern track. You can see right there, including parts of Brownfield, 1218, Essery Springs, 1225, Lone Pine, 1226, and the Cypress community by about 1231. Doing one focus more on the communities. If you know any of these places that you live by, hopefully you are in your sturdy structure and where you need to be so far. A few of these are listed in Tennessee, but still, it's important that we know several of these areas that we're talking about for the next 30 minutes or so as we continue through this tornado warning. Hines School, 1207, Marlowe Church, 1210, Oakland School, 1212, Home Section, 1217, Walnut, we were mentioning you, about 1217 as well, about 10 minutes away. Now, again, this is if it moves a little bit more in a southern direction, but I do expect it to be slightly north as of the direction that it's headed right now. Can't be too safe in this circumstance, though. Get to that safe spot and get to where you need to be. Lookout School, 1224, Essery Springs, 1225, New Hope Baptist Church, 1227, Lone Pine, 1228, and the Cypress area, as I mentioned, 1230, 1231, expected to be moving into your area. If you look at the latest scans, we're continuing to see that organized couplet over northeastern Benton County. We're talking about Highway 72. You can see it right along there on the east side of Canaan, moving into Tippah County, the county line right there where that arrow is rotating. And you're getting those returns. I mean, I just want to look at how strong these gusts are in general. And we're getting 70 to 82 miles an hour on the leading edge. Now, that might be a bit on the higher end, and that's, again, winds high up in the atmosphere. So whenever we compare that to winds happening at the surface, would not be surprised to see anywhere from 40 to 50 miles an hour with this. So not only is it a tornado warning we need to be worried about, it's also a severe thunderstorm warning that probably would be issued along with this if it wasn't a tornado warning. But so far, latest scans, looking at that rotation and comparing it to the debris signature, not seeing anything right now that clearly defines a debris signature. Again, we talked about that side lobe interaction, and so far getting that in the northeast Benton County, but as it moves more into northern Tippah, it's not but a moment away from producing a tornado. So better to be too safe in this situation. So looking at the latest, meteorologist Gabe Maynor tracking this tornado warning that has been issued for northern Tippah County and northern Alcorn County. Reason why is because we have that rotating thunderstorm over parts of northeastern Benton County. Looking at the latest, again, that defined couplet right along there. I mean, again, I said earlier, I don't even need to put a circle here to show that well-defined couplet, but I'll go ahead and do it to give you an idea of what to be looking at. And it's all that energy cycled right in this general area, along 72, moving north of it right now across Salisbury Road. Now, this is in Benton County, but the county line, we're talking about moments away from that, about 1 minute, if that. So as it moves into that county line area, if you are along parts of 72 in northern Tippah County, get to that safe place. You have about a couple minutes before it crosses that county line. And it's better to be on the safe side, whether this is producing or not. Now, I know it's showing a lot of dark blues right along that general region, but whenever we get that side lobe interaction, It's not a confirmed tornado. It's just showing a change in that debris tracker, not debris. It's just that side lobe interaction. So going to go back to the reflectivity and see how it's organizing still. I mean, this is a large hail producer. That hail core you're seeing well on the top side of this as it moves through parts of Tennessee. Updated scan. I'm just taking a look at this real quick, making sure we don't have anything confirmed just yet. Still nothing defined. Give me 1 second to check this. Yeah, they agree. Nothing confirmed right now that says a tornado on the ground, but it continues to look impressive. I would not be surprised at all if this did produce here pretty soon. So we're going to keep an eye on this and go ahead and do a storm track on the latest debris, or latest velocity scans as it moves at about 50 miles an hour across Salisbury Road into the Brownfield area. Poor is on the Tennessee side of this risk area or of this cone, so that's going to be outside of our viewing area. But still, if you know anyone in southern Tennessee, right along that state line, I know we have friends from Tennessee, go ahead and let them know that a strong storm is headed their way. Going to move this circle just a bit and then put that new cone to cover areas that this is going to be moving into. I mean, it's probably going to go right into the Tennessee area before this does produce, if it were to, because we are staying void of that. I mean, it's moving into northern Tippah County as we speak, crossing the county line. So Old Antioch School, 1213, Brownfield, we've been talking about you, 1218 to 1219, probably going to move in there. Gentry's Chapel, 1219, Brownfield United Methodist Church, 1220, Poor by 1220, talking about that Tennessee side of things. And then Pleasant Hill School, 1224, Oak Grove Church, 1225. Now, if you are in the northern Tippah County area, go ahead and get to that safe place, get to where you need to go. Hopefully you've had this plan in place because we've been talking about this for several days now, just a part of that same risk that we've been seeing, that same tornado watch that we're under, now extended until 6 a.m., just showing that this environment, it's not done yet. And it's not done yet for the next several days, talking about in the next 2 or 3 days. So you can see that rotation right now, moving across the state line and across the county line. Probably just going to miss on the Tippah County area, but I mean, that's a fortunate thing. Unfortunately, though, this is going to be moving into Tennessee. So out of our viewing area, if you know of anyone in the area, go ahead and give them a call. I know that we have friends across the state line. It's a late night. It's 12:12 right now. A lot of them trying to get some sleep before school or work tomorrow. Wake them up. Let them know, because a phone call from you means a little bit more than a phone call coming from us, and it will give them a heads up that they need. Going to give cone on this as it continues to move more towards Poor and Middleton. And again, if you know of anyone in these general areas, go ahead and screenshot this, let them know, send this to them so that way they can go ahead and get to their safe place, because you can see 1213 Old Antioch, but by 1224 we're talking about Reeves Church. It's not too long, it's 10 minutes away, and this could be producing by 10 minutes from now. So fortunately, I do think this is moving out of Mississippi and moving in that northeast direction, so no longer going to be a threat for us. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes to just go ahead and let this move across the state, just to be sure, but I have 90% certainty that that's the path it's going to take, and I don't see anything showing me anything different. So that warning still including northern Tippah County and northern Alcorn County until 12:45, as you can see, but as you can see by that path, staying well north of both of those counties, not going to be posing a threat except for northwest sections of Tippah County right now. Still a few scans away from producing a tornado, but I mean, we're not far from it. But we're probably not going to see that here in Mississippi. Overall, looking at the entire line, we can see some action happening out in West Mississippi. That rotation getting a little bit stronger, moving towards Senatobia, Arcabutla, Wakefield, Byhalia. Not going to be a threat for us, more than likely staying out of the viewing area, following that Marshall County path well into Tennessee, similar to the path that this other storm took, but a little bit more west. So those are the two to watch right now. More storms flaring up around Yalobusha County. I mean, we saw it with this one up in Tippah County. It didn't take many scans, many counties, for that to start to be on the stronger side and to produce a tornado warning. So again, it's something we have to keep our eyes on. I'm keeping my eyes on it behind the scenes for you guys, and we'll be back live if need be. But looking at the latest scans as this continues to move north, I mean, that hook is still northwest Tippah County. Rotation lining up with it. And we're going to stay on as long as needed until this fully clears the area, until there's full comfort that this is not producing. So let me just look at the latest. So looking at the latest, there's nothing to confirm a tornado touchdown at all with this. This is a lot of side lobe interaction, which is something to do with the radar sites and it just giving false numbers with it being so far away. So fortunately for us, that means there's no confirmed tornado. But if there is anything, if there is any debris that you guys see on the ground, if you know of anyone in Northwest Tippah County and they see something, go ahead and forward that to us. And you can do that whether at WTVA.com, but do that in a safe manner just so we can go ahead and get those reports in. Because based off what we're seeing right now, not seeing anything that's confirming a tornado. But still, whenever you talk about that wraparound moisture, I mean, it's wrapping around all of that energy from the hail core, from what's above it and around, and you can see that wraparound of moisture, and that's usually what we see with the thing called call a hook. We're seeing that pretty defined right there, just crossing the Tennessee state line into parts of Tennessee. So looking at the latest scans, and I'm just going to go ahead and advance this just a bit. Oh, hang on a second, let me take these off. So advancing it, looks like it's crossing into Tennessee, so no longer going to be a threat for Alcorn County. I think this stays well north of you guys. It's going to be moving across northwest sections of Tippah County, so still getting some of those rumbles of thunder and some of that strong wind gust right along County Road 113, County Road 105, and northwest sections of Tippah County. So probably still getting a pretty big storm that packs a punch. I want to look at latest winds in that general area to just show you guys what you're kind of experiencing. 44 miles an hour, even higher ones, 56. Out ahead of that, 53 miles an hour. So it's a breezy night nonetheless, whether it's a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning, we're still going to see damage associated with that with winds of this magnitude. So it's important that we continue to stay safe and continue to monitor this weather, because as this one does cycle into Tennessee, we have an environment here in northeast Mississippi that is prime for these storms to move into and mature quickly. We saw it with this storm up in the Tennessee area right now. Earlier when it was near Sardis, it was just starting out as one of these small thunderstorms, and it didn't take long for it to pick up and have a tornado warning right around Holly Springs and then move into Tennessee. Now, some of these we see towards Yalobusha County, definitely keeping an eye on, because the environment it's entering into is a very unstable environment. You're seeing it move through parts of Oxford, Union, Tippah, Alcorn, Prentice. So it's going to follow that same line, but still far from doing so. Hopefully we stay that way through the rest of the night. It's just the environment it's entering into. It doesn't take much. So looking at the latest, I want to continue to confirm that this is moving into Tennessee and not going to be. Okay, hang on one second. Okay, so we are getting a chaser confirmed tornado on the ground north of Walnut. So I want to look at the latest scans with that. If it's north of Walnut, I would say that it would be along Highway 57 in Tennessee. So not where we are here in Mississippi, but would not be surprised. And that's definitely going to be something interesting to track, because let me do a circle on this rotation, on that strongest couplet that we're seeing. Whenever we line that up with the debris mode, I mean, that looks a little bit more than side lobe interaction, so would not be surprised to see that. And let me just see. Yeah, they're going to put a confirmed tag on that. So definitely seeing a confirmed tornado now. We were talking about the damage that this would do, and we're seeing that happen right now. I want to do one last storm track on this as it moves into Tennessee, because I know some of us have friends up there, and I want them to be have all the warnings that they can get as this moves in that northeast direction. You can see several areas listed in that. I want to actually change it to towns, because you might know towns a little bit more, and we can go ahead and give them a little bit of a heads up as this moves in that northeast direction, taking that northeast path, Middleton, Lacey. Let me see if I can extend it more. So take a picture of some of those towns. If you know anyone in that town, go ahead and let them know that this is a confirmed tornado touchdown happening just north of Walnut as it crossed the Tennessee state line. We did get confirmation by looking at the debris mode. We also got confirmation through one of the storm spotters that were on this tornado. So that's the best way to know. That's the best way to know what's going on. But those are trained people who know what they're doing out there, and we want people to stay as safe as possible. So don't go out chasing these tornadoes, especially at night. Go ahead and stay home and stay as safe as you can. Now, as we head through the night, we are going to track several storms moving through the area. So the way you stay in the know is by getting Weather Call, the WTVA weather app, a weather radio, Code Red, the FEMA app. Anything you can do to stay ahead of these storms is important as we head through the rest of the night, because this is probably just going to be the first of what will be several warned storms through the evening, whether they're in North Mississippi or not. That's the question, and we'll see how the environment interacts with these storms. Again, we're watching the ones near Yalobusha County, Lafayette County. Wouldn't be surprised to see some of these take that same path and energize the same amount and possibly produce a warning here later on. So we'll keep it here for the very latest. I want to say that for right now, as this moves into Tennessee, it's no longer posing a threat. We'll stay on until they clear out that area in Tippah County, but I don't foresee this being an issue with us here in Northeast Mississippi as this does clear on out. So for people in the back, we will stay on until this fully clears Tippah County. But as of right now, for viewers at home, I don't think northern Tippah County will have to worry. Walnut, you're going to be in the clear. Brownfield looks like it's staying north of you. If you live along 15 in North Mississippi, you are in the clear. So fortunately, stayed out of our area before that did officially touch down. Looking at the latest, again, it's still looking pretty lined up. Pretty much a confirmed tornado as we are continuing to track that over Poor. So hopefully people in Poor have taken to their safe place. I mean, our thoughts and prayers are with them, just as this dangerous storm moves closer and closer towards them. Continue to see that wraparound moisture. I mean, this is still a very classic supercell that you typically expect to produce a tornado as that wraps around that Poor community, moving up towards Middleton, and we're seeing that move towards Rose Creek. So this is going to be moving well into Tennessee by that point. But the environment it's entering into is still unstable, and it's had a lot of untapped energy. So all of that is soaking it up and allowing that to continue to build and continue to strengthen. On top of the tornado risk, I mean, up in the hail core, we're talking about ping pong ball sized hail. That'll be damaging in itself. So hail, we saw it earlier tonight here in Northeast Mississippi, and we know the damage that it can do. But fortunately, so far, the tornadoes have stayed out to our west and north. We've stayed void of that here in Northeast Mississippi. Now, keeping an eye on the one near Senatobia. I'm going to do a storm track on this as it moves at about 50 miles an hour as well. Oh, hang on a second. I would say that's a confirmed tornado as well. If we look at that rotation, we're talking about that interaction. Those bright reds and greens. This also looks pretty glitchy on radar, which is typically a sign of a tornado on the ground. We see that typically with confirmed tornado touchdowns, and you can see that debris lining up with that base reflectivity and also with that rotation. We were seeing it a moment ago. I would not be surprised to see if that was a confirmed tornado touchdown, but this is still a strong thunderstorm as it's moving through parts of Crenshaw, Arkabutla, Senatobia, inching closer to 55 and up there towards Marshall County yet again. I'm going to do a storm track on that as it moves in that northeast direction. Should stay clear of our area, but I know we have friends out to the west that need a heads up, and what better heads up than their friends and family calling them. If you know anyone in Senatobia, Watson, Byhalia, Victoria, Red Banks, Mount Pleasant, go ahead and give them a phone call. Tell them there is a dangerous storm moving their way, and they need to go ahead and get to that safe place, or at least be paying attention just in case that storm continues to increase in strength. Looking at the latest scans, that one near Walnut continues to be an oppressive storm. My word. Still looks like that debris lines up relatively well with it. I want to see if they've cleared us out in Tippah County so far. Heading straight for Middleton. Yes, I agree. It probably has moved past Middleton at this point, or it's right over the top of it. So our thoughts and prayers, again, go out to Middleton, go out to Poor, as this dangerous tornado has now gone over both of those communities. I know that there are several people in that area. Hopefully they're in their safe place and where they need to be, and that no lives are lost tonight. But we know that it's been a very active night, and we know that it's been a very dangerous situation. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody, especially right now that are in Middleton experiencing something they probably didn't want to tonight, as we wanted to have a peaceful night sleeping. But with the weather being how it is and the frontal boundary, how it lines up, where you're just going to get this repeat pattern over and over and over again, is something that we'll just have to stay weather aware for the next 3-4 days even, well into Saturday. So continue to look at that. Moving well north of our viewing area, I expect this warning to expire here in Tippah County. They should clear that out here relatively soon. I haven't talked about doing that just yet, but as long as that tornado warning is there, we're going to stay on the air just to stay on top of this, especially as it now is a confirmed tornado. Tracking that one out towards Senatobia continues to be a well-defined thunderstorm. Continue to get that hook. We talked about that inflow happening right along there with that reflectivity showing that wraparound of moisture that we typically see in a classic supercell. We've been talking about that all night, how you get that wraparound moisture happening right across Highway 4 as we speak in that northeast direction. If you're along 55 near Coldwater or know of anyone around that area, now's the time to let them know. Give them a heads up that a strong thunderstorm is headed their way. I want to take a look at latest scans and just continue to make sure that there's nothing else in the area that need to be of note. And so far, the only one that I'm watching, and again, we're far from this being anything, but it's around Yalobusha County, moving into the parts of Lafayette County, Union County. Now I'm going to do a storm track on this, but we are not expecting anything soon with this storm. But just along that main cell, you can see some of those counties included in there. We're talking about Thaxton 107, Ingomar 119, New Albany 125, Blue Mountain 134, Faulkner 149, Jeffertown 154, Boonville 157. Now, this is again far from being anything, but it's really our next one we're watching, moving through northeast Mississippi, that's entering an untapped environment that would allow for this to form and build quickly. That one, just across Tennessee. Just continues to be a well-defined couplet. Continues to show. That's one that they're talking about out west, saying it may produce soon. The one that we may have seen debris on it earlier, but I mean, you look at it, you don't need me. Again, earlier we said it, but you don't need me to show you where this couplet's happening. Those bright returns of reds and greens happening right along the Crockett area, inching closer and closer to I-55. That's the rotation that they're watching. Go ahead and put a circle on it, and we can go ahead and look and see if there's anything in regards to debris. So far, staying void of that, but we're not too far away from that being a producing tornado. This is continuing to move north into Tennessee. The main tornado warning that we did see issued until 12:45. Yeah, shouldn't be an issue for us here in Tippah County. They have cleared out Alcorn County, so recognizing that it was going north, now that it's basically clearing the Tippah County line, we're seeing that move east of Tippah, northeast of Tippah, no longer an issue, and so they should be clearing that out here shortly. So if you are in your safe place in Tippah County, you can go ahead and get out of there. You are going to be good for right now, as we are watching more thunderstorms produce as we head into the rest of our night. A meteorologist Gabe Maynard tracking the latest on a tornado warning. Now moving into parts of Tennessee until 12:45. Expecting them to trim this a little bit and cut off sections of Tennessee, and of course sections of Mississippi that are no longer needed to be included within this warning. But you can see this is still a strong thunderstorm producing bright reflectivity or bright rotation that basically shows that there is an interaction, allowing these storms to just rotate and allowing them to produce a tornado. Now, earlier we did get a confirmed tornado as it moved north of Walnut, just staying probably about 10, 15 miles north of Walnut. And looking at the debris mode with this is where it was confirmed. And you can see when we line that up with the rotation, lines up perfectly with that. We were getting a lot of side lobe interaction, and honestly, with it being this far away from both radar sites, it's tough to get a confirmed tornado. But we did get a spotter confirmed tornado that it did produce just north of Walnut. I'll be looking to see if they have any video on that and forward that here later, but it's definitely something that they were able to confirm. Trained spotters that know where to be and how to stay safe when there is a tornado on the ground. So they have, let me just make sure. Okay, they have not trimmed it just yet. They're tracking that one out towards the west, out towards Tate County. That just looks like it's moments away from producing a tornado. And let me just go to the latest scan. Still looks like it's nothing confirmed just yet. Wouldn't be surprised to see what that pixel return is right there. You're seeing just south of Crockett. You can see lining up relatively well with that rotation, but it doesn't line up perfectly. And that's where I would just not confirm it just yet, but wouldn't be surprised to see that. It's just tough whenever it's that far away from the radar site to get a confirmed tornado. And honestly, if we treat it like it is one and stay on the safe side, it's probably our best bet. So if you live on I-55 or know of anyone that lives on I-55 as this moves closer to Senatobia and Byhalia, go ahead and let them know. So this is moving well north into Tennessee. I don't believe they're going to expire that one up in Tippah County. So what I'm going to tell them in the back to do is go ahead and we'll be good to take this off. This is moving into Tennessee, so this is no longer a threat for us, but expanding things out and looking at the latest, we do have a few cells out there towards our west that we'll keep an eye on as this moves closer to our area. But for right now, we look to be in the clear from any tornado warned storms, but we know this is a very active system and it will not take much for something to be produced later on. Of course, we'll be here for the latest. So for now, just have a good, safe night and we'll keep you updated here at WTVA 9 News.
How you doing?
Doing good. Got busy quick.
I see that. Didn't take long, did
Oh my word, yeah.
it?
It's no surprise though. We expected it.
Uh,
All right, so we're keeping the stream on, and we're just going to talk to you guys about what's going to happen here going forward. I do want to say that there is still that warning up in northern Tippah County, expecting that to expire. I'm surprised that they didn't expire it in the latest one because this is well into Tennessee at this point. So we're not expecting that to be producing anything in our area. But still, I mean, just look at that. Look at that wraparound moisture, just showing a very clear defined couplet. And whenever we look at that debris mode, yeah, that's still I would say that's still a confirmed tornado based off of that. Let's just go ahead and circle that debris that we believe to be debris. Line that up. Yeah, I would not be surprised if that was your tornado right there. So hopefully that's not the case, but it's hard to argue with whenever you see something like that. So expanding things out, looking at the latest. That's now moving into Tennessee. I'll give you guys a track on that as it moves in that northeast direction up towards Selmer and Savannah. You can see a few towns listed in there. If you know of anyone up there, please give them a call and tell them that this is a dangerous storm moving their way. So hopefully that they've already, oh, there's the new warning that they issued. So canceling out Tippah County like we expected, and now moving towards Morris Chapel. And I believe that they still have the confirmed tornado touchdown tag on it. Yes. So this is still a dangerous storm as it's moving towards Savannah and up there towards Morris Chapel, places like that. Let me do track. Yeah, that's still a confirmed tornado. That's for sure still a confirmed tornado. Let me go on to one of our other programs real quick, and I'm going to measure the height of this tornado debris signature. So give me 1 second to do that because this kind of helps us to see what exactly how strong this tornado is. So let me pull it up real quick. So I'm getting about 20,000 feet, I would say. 20,000 feet on a tornado. I'd have to look back and see what that would equate to, but 20,000 feet on debris being lofted shows you how strong that tornado is. So, what's up?
you can keep your mic on. If we need to go live again, just follow it.
I'm gonna keep my mic on too because
That's fine.
that warning got issued quickly, and
I booked it.
I'm glad we read it. Hey, you did good.
Yeah.
As of right now, we're far from anything, but you saw how quickly it did it last time. I do apologize. I'm dealing with a bit of a cold, and I lost my voice, so I had to get a drink. So yeah, looking out west, and this is what we're watching in regards to our next threat. And let me see. Let me go back. Yep, there it is. It's issued. So they did confirm this tornado damage that was happening out towards Crockett. Wouldn't be surprised if it touched down south of Crockett. We talked about that earlier with that pixel. Let me see if I can circle it right there. Watch how over time that pixel just continued to grow, moving east of Crockett. Yeah, that's still tornado debris. We line that up with our rotation. Whenever you get that glitchy looking vorticity mode or glitchy looking winds, that typically is a good sign that there is a tornado being produced at that moment. Lining up with the reflectivity, I mean, this is definitely a significant tornado out towards our west, crossing 55. And I know there's several people in Coldwater that live along 55 and 306 that are about to be impacted by this tornado. Go ahead and give them a call. Let them know this is headed their way and they need to get to that safe place now. Now rather than later. Coldwater 1238, you have about 3 minutes. 1246 Bowman, Lurline 1247, and Independence by 1248. If you know specific communities out there, I want to do the latest on that as it crosses 55 because this is a confirmed dangerous tornado. You can see several reports on that one. Let's see. Storm tracker spotted the Wedge. William, which storm tracker? And is this on this storm out near Senatobia? Max velocity. I gotcha. I just was curious who reported that. I'm trying to see if they've gotten anything on this very strong tornado on the ground. Yeah, I mean it's a horrible scene to see out there. And our thoughts and prayers. Can't send enough of them tonight for people that have been impacted by these storms, especially the one that moved through north of Tippah County. I'm unfamiliar with my Tennessee county, so forgive me, but moving north of there through Middleton and through Poor, you can see this intersection right there, 57 and 125, basically moved right over the top of that over time. You can see the progression of that tornadic cell. I know it got confirmed. Someone said confirmed close to Brownfield, and based off the rotation, I don't believe it ever went through Brownfield. It went west of Brownfield and then north of Brownfield through Poor and Middleton. And you can see that's where that tornado for sure touched down. We got a tornado spotter that confirmed it. As it moved right there, you can see that debris associated with it. And as it continued to move in that northeast direction, you can see that rotation getting more and more defined, and that debris associated with it pretty well defined as well. Right there, I'll say, is your best look at that debris ball. And that just being produced east of Lacey, south of Rose Creek. Now, as we look at it, moving into Rose Creek, let me see if this is still, oh, sorry, it's still south. Took more of an eastern turn. And that's still got a very defined hook. Whenever we talk about a hook, we're talking about that wraparound of moisture, and that latest scan shows a more defined one at that, showing that moving towards Bethel Springs and Selmer. This is into Tennessee, so not a threat for us directly, or indirectly for that matter, not a threat at all. We were looking at Yalobusha County, and this storm hasn't really done anything, hasn't really strengthened in this primed environment, fortunately, and hopefully that continues to stay that way. But we're keeping an eye on it through the night. No power in Walnut. Yeah, Walnut still got some gusty winds. And let me see if I can pull this up, and we can go over power outages. Because I know Tippah County, North Tippah County, was very close and associated with strong winds. We didn't get anything confirmed until once it went into Tennessee. And so that's where I was able to confirm it then. But for us here in Mississippi, I've never got anything confirmed that it for sure touched down. So Tippah County coming in with 153 power outages at this moment, and Benton County coming in, it says 27. I feel like that's relatively low. Kiara, where was that confirmed in EF3? Middleton, Mississippi, no power. Oh, Middleton, Tennessee, no power. Yeah, no surprise there. That was a confirmed tornado moving right through Middleton, Tennessee. So, so yeah, we're definitely. Ooh, hang on, I just clicked a button. Forgive me. But yeah, so this is our next one that we're watching. Forgive me a moment. Telling you my voice, it's falling out. Um, but this one out towards Senatobia, we've gotten reports that it is on the ground still. We've gotten reports that it is a large, what we consider a wedge tornado. A funnel is what we usually associate with the EF0, EF1, a smaller end tornado. A wedge is much larger, covering a much larger area. And so that terminology does come in handy for explaining what's happening on the ground. So whenever we hear that term wedge, we know this is a very large tornado. Now, of course, the rating depends on the damage, but we just want to be over prepared. Even if it's an EF0 or an EF4, it's still a tornado and it's still going to be damaging. We need to go ahead and take those precautions. Let me. I realized I was working on the more on the work set. I apologize. So yeah, we're talking about this one up around 55 right now. Crossing 55, just crossed near Coldwater. So if you know of anyone in Coldwater, I hope they were in their safe place because it moved just south of that area. I want to confirm latest scans. That is your debris marker right there. And that's all you need to know that this is a dangerous storm, a dangerous tornado that's still on the ground. It has been a long-lived storm at that. Let's go back the last couple of scans and compare this same debris ball moving south of Crockett. Yes, I'm just gonna go ahead and put a circle. We'll do some geography here real quick. Give me one moment. So far, an 8-mile path over the last I want to say 5, 6 minutes or so. So this has been I would call long-lived tornado. Anything longer than 0 miles is a long-lived tornado, in my opinion, and too long at that. But it's continued to be on the ground. It's continuing to move more into that 55-306 corridor. Should say just south of that intersection, but we're talking about it moving closer to Bowman and Independence as we speak. Lurline also included in that possibility. I'm going to do a based off of the damage. I'm going to do it right there, moving in that northeast direction. We're talking about Wakefield and Watson included in that. So Bowman 1247, Independence 1250, Wakefield 1255, and Watson closer to about 1 o'clock. So this is Three Forks area. Christy, was that from this storm or was that from one earlier? Because I know it's been pretty active along western sections of Mississippi. So North Mississippi Storm Spotters just posted. Let me pull up the North Mississippi Storm Spotters picture here in a moment. But I want to go ahead and look back at this storm up in Tennessee just to make sure, folks in Corinth, you are in the clear. Um, so Randy, the reason why I did not go live for the tornado warning in Marshall County is because Marshall County is outside of our market area that we cover, and so we only go live for our purposes here at the station because whenever it's in our viewing area being Tippah County, basically areas highlighted in that dark black outline. So Lafayette County, Union County, Tippah County, anything there south and east, that's what we'll cover. But I did go live once I entered towards Benton County just because it was continuing to strengthen and continuing to be something of note. So that's why we were going live. And Randy, Matt is trying to get some sleep. Yes, Kirsten, thank you for advocating for that. Yeah, he does need to sleep at some point. He is human, believe it or not. Superhuman sometimes, but definitely still human. So he's got to get his rest because this is a very busy week. We're talking about 4 days of severe weather, and this being day one. So already getting all this action shows you that we're in for quite a doozy over the next couple of days, especially, and I want to highlight this, since we are in a little bit of a break here in Northeast Mississippi, just the risk areas over the next couple of days. So today, let me expand things out. Today being Thursday morning into Friday morning, we are going to be under that level 3 for Marshall County, Tippah County, even far northwest sections of Alcorn County. Level 2 extending into Prentiss, Union, Lafayette, and the level 1 Chickasaw, Itawamba, on towards Montgomery, and then let's just keep going through the risk areas. Give me 1 second, because computer's got a computer. Okay, that looks to be. Okay, that might be glitched, because that's the same one. Okay, yes, this is off. So this should be Friday's risk area, showing you that there's a level 1 out of 5 for Lafayette and Tippah County. And then for our Saturday risk, I know it says Sunday up top, but forgive me. But Saturday risk, a level 3 out of 5 already, expecting that to possibly even be strengthened as we get closer. Now, reason why that's happening is because this frontal boundary out towards our north and west has been sitting, remaining stagnant, and not producing or not showing any signs of moving anytime soon. So as that continues to inch closer, we'll of course have a forcing mechanism, something to initiate these storms. So that really won't move through our area until we get to Saturday. So that's why our best risk is Saturday, but it also shows you why we're under risk for the next 3 days, including tonight, Thursday, and Friday. Which I guess we're in Thursday right now. It's 12:45. Olive Branch, Mississippi. Going to zoom in on you guys because I know that I have a few people asking about that. So this is the one that we've been tracking towards Coldwater, now moving towards Alphaba and up there towards Lurline. Whenever we look at that rotation, I mean, because it's been producing and because it's still been a strong tornado, we're going to keep treating that as though it's debris, even though it doesn't look as defined as a debris ball. I'm still going to treat it like it is one because this has produced, and it has produced for a long while since then. And we're still getting that wraparound of moisture. You can see that S-shaped associated with it, that classic supercell. That's going to be what we're watching over the next little bit, especially with that strong rotation associated with it. Give me 1 second on this. I'm not seeing anything that's necessarily defined as debris as of right now. So fortunately, this might have lifted if we are lucky. Okay. So I'm going to do a track on this for any folks that are out north and east of this. We're talking about that Lurline area. We're now getting closer to the Byhalia area. I know that you guys were just in that tornado warning with that one moving through Marshall County, but you're seeing several areas. Ingram School, 1250, Mount Austin Church, 1251, Macedonia Baptist Church, 1257, Watson Community Chapel, 1259, Byhalia, I mentioned you, 102, First Baptist Church, what would that'll probably be by Halia as well. 102, Victoria Heights Baptist Church, 105. So this is a dangerous storm moving closer and closer to you guys, still showing a lot of energy associated with it and entering an environment that is relatively untapped. So this is just going to continue to eat at that unstable air and continue to build more and more. Let me see. I'm just looking through comments here real quick. So Gift, I know that you guys got a warning earlier, and I do want to say that that has stayed north of Alcorn County. So not expecting anything for you guys that is going to stay north into Tennessee. Fortunately, the only unfortunate thing is that someone has to deal with that storm, and it is our neighbors up in Tennessee. So hopefully they've taken the necessary precautions and gone to their safe place because this looks to just have continued to strengthen. And oh my word, I would agree. That is a very, very well-defined debris ball, and that is a very dangerous storm. Hopefully, folks have taken those precautions, and I want to go ahead and look and see how high we're getting. And uh, I saw someone. Well, I gotta go down here. So I'm gonna do some stuff. This is behind the scenes, but just basically keep your eyes on that storm. Give me 1 second. That is towards Bethel Springs. So that's getting about 15,000 feet, possibly even 20,000. So this is still a very dangerous tornado on the ground. And you can see, I mean, latest, oh my word, latest scans coming in just gets worse and worse on this. So hopefully people are in the safe place. If you know of anyone in Tennessee, southern Tennessee, especially in the path of this tornado, tell them to go ahead and get to that safe place. Doing the latest track on that as it continues to move in that northeast direction. Not good luck. I pray for anybody who has to go through something like this. This is awful. Purdy, 1249, Adamsville, 1257, Sibley by 106, Holtzville, I believe that I'm saying that correctly, 108, Five Forks by 111, and this is a dangerous tornado on the ground, producing damage, producing quite a bit of debris. You're seeing that right there over parts of Purdy right now, over, I believe that's Highway 64. This is Tennessee, so it's out of what I know, but still. Why is this hell happening at night? Well, Allie, it's just Mississippi, always has those nighttime tornadoes, but this is basically a favorable environment for the next 72 hours or so. So we're going to see development not just tonight, could also be tomorrow morning, could also be tomorrow afternoon, could be overnight again. And so it's just going to be this repeated cycle because that forcing mechanism just basically sitting out to our north and west for the next 3 days. Kiara, that one up in Tennessee is still on the ground. Is that the one you're referring to, or are you referring out towards our west? I assume it might be out towards our west. Let me see. Florence, Alabama. Yeah, Mother Nature done turned nocturnal. Mother Nature just turned aggressive really quick, honestly, because no one should have to deal with that tornado. So latest scans coming in. Oh, I know we got some confirmed, what we refer to as wedges over in Coldwater, but that now moving east of 305. We're inching closer to 22. We're talking about Watson, Warsaw, and Victoria. As I can make a storm track off of that, moving across 22, you can see a few of those counties included in there. Warsaw 1256, Victoria 101, and then Tasca, I might be saying that incorrectly. 107. Let me rephrase that. I definitely am saying it incorrectly, so um, please correct me in the comments. But this one up here, it's just devastating. It's all devastating, but this is still on the ground. And it's moving through Purdy as we speak, Adamsville in the path. Now you might see a Saltillo in the warning area. This is Saltillo, Tennessee, not Saltillo, Mississippi. So if you're in Saltillo, Mississippi, do not need to go to your safe place. You can lay back down in bed and still feel comfortable. You are safe right now. Timothy, I'm curious, and I might need to scroll up to see it. Where are the sirens going off right now? Yeah, Mary, Tippah County is now in the clear. They did have a tornado warning earlier. We are tracking this one out towards Senatobia, moving towards 22. I say it's near Senatobia. It's northeast of Senatobia now. Wakefield is in the path of this, and Watson's probably going to be next. But this has been producing a strong tornado for several scans. We had an 8-mile path earlier as that was continuing to increase in strength, but as you can see, it's still a large tornado with considerable damage as that moves in that east-northeast path. This warning is showing a bit more of an east path. I do want to say, or I do want to put a storm track on that. If it were to take more of that east path, and we're talking about Brody or Walnut being included in there, this is a path that few of these storms have taken, but it's better to be safe than sorry. Walnut, we're talking about 153, so that's northern Tippah County yet again. And we know that there were just a few miles between Walnut and a tornado that happened earlier. So hopefully this goes north yet again and does not affect folks in northern Tippah County, but it's better to be on the safe side, and we're talking about 153, an hour from now. So still a good bit before it does move into that area, but based off what we've seen so far, this is a dangerous, dangerous storm that does not take much for it to produce, if it's not already. Allie Grace, I will say this, and I will say this for everybody. If you are trying to go to sleep tonight, have ways of receiving alerts, and I'll pull it up real quick of different ways that you can do so, because there's no reason why you should not be prepared. Weather call is included in that. Our weather app lets us know. Trust me, my wife and I get alerts all the time. We hear Matt's voice even when lightning's being detected. So we know when to watch out for and when to stay weather aware. Weather radio will also keep you in the alert, and then several other ways that you can do so as well. So we basically, if you are going to bed, want you to have something to wake you up. And that being a tornado warning, that being a severe thunderstorm warning, something that can alert you that you need to get to your safe place and will give you several minutes notice to do so. We, of course, are going to stay up all night with you guys here at WTVA. Chelsea's coming in at about 2:30. So she's going to take over and keep you guys updated through the morning as we are still possibly seeing more of that severe weather early parts of our Thursday. Delaney, I hope at some point Tippa will get to sleep, but I would say definitely stay awake for the next couple of minutes as we watch this path out in closer to Holly Springs, moving closer to 22 Watson. Latest scans that just continues to show not good things. And a Yeah, John, I would not recommend driving in a high profile vehicle. Let me tell you why. Outside of any of the storms, let me see if I can pull it up. I have to find it here real quick. Okay, here we go. And let me expand things out. And then we'll get back to storms. Okay, zooming it out. 17, 18 miles an hour winds, but let's just take a look at gusts. Because my wife and I were tracking this earlier, and we saw 25-mile-an-hour winds with 33-mile-an-hour gusts, and right now we're seeing 18-mile-an-hour winds with 32-mile-an-hour gusts. So if you're in a high-profile vehicle, talking about semis, RVs, anything of that nature, probably don't want to be driving because of these winds. I know sometimes we just can't help it. We have jobs to do, but that's just where we need to drive slow. Don't get caught up in the rain, don't get caught up in the storms, and try and steer clear of that, literally. Yes, there is a large tornado on the ground in Tennessee. That was the one that moved through Marshall County, Benton County, and northwest portions of Tippah County. And this is continuing to just do damage up in southern Tennessee, moving towards Adamsville as we speak. That is still a well-defined debris ball. Now, I want to just expand things back and show you how long this has traveled, because we know that it's been going for a relatively long time at this point. So going back, this is where we got the confirmation. I'm going to put the circle on it, like we did earlier, and go to the latest scan. Whenever we show that, it is a 28-mile tornado, or 28-mile long tornado, meaning it has been on the ground for 28 miles, and it does not look like it's going away anytime soon, unfortunately, because this is still a very dangerous situation. Debris being lofted anywhere from 15 to 20,000 feet. We're talking about a major tornado at that. So the fact that it's still on the ground, the fact that it's entering into an untapped environment, I mean, let's just look out ahead of this. What do you see right along here? Because I don't see anything. And that means that there has not been storms to take that energy and to that would cause this to dismantle. And the winds coming out of the south, 20 miles an hour, 30-mile-an-hour gusts, it's bringing in that instability from the Gulf that's going to allow these storms to continue to build. And so this one is entering in a very unstable environment that is just not good. It's not good to say the least. And our thoughts and prayers are with people. If you are in Adamsville, Morris Chapel, and guys, Saltillo, Tennessee, please do not think this is Saltillo, Mississippi, then we are needing to get to that safe place. I know that probably no one in this stream is watching this, but I want you to tell anyone that you know up in Adamsville, up in Morris Chapel, up in Saltillo or Gumdale, Tennessee, to go ahead and get to that safe place. So that's what this is showing right here, not Saltillo, Mississippi. I just want to emphasize that, overemphasize that, so folks aren't confused or concerned that Saltillo is under control. Well, thank you, Garrett. Appreciate that. Weather call is the best investment ever. And Tina, I think you can advocate that it will wake you up. No matter if you want to be awake or not, it will wake you up. Well, Alex, hopefully we don't have to deal with storms overnight all the time that would require someone to work the shift. But that's where, Chelsea comes in early. Chelsea comes in at 2. So we just have to have someone wait until that 10:30 to 2 o'clock range just to stay on the safe side in case anything were to happen, like what has happened tonight. I want to keep an eye on this over there towards Vidalia, Red Banks, I-22, moving closer and closer. It just moved over Watson. Still looks like it could be producing damage. Okay, fellow meteorologist is reporting debris on I-55 at the overpass north of Senatobia, possibly Slocum Road. I want to go look at that here real quick. So we're talking I-55 overpass near Senatobia. Go back in time. It's just that. Yep. I mean, we're talking about right there. Let me see if I can pull up Old Slocum Road. To be honest with you guys, I won't be able to see that. But it does not surprise me one bit that I went right over the I-55 corridor north of Senatobia. Yep, that lines up perfectly with that debris signature. Looking at the latest, I would say that's still debris, still producing. Jackson, I will say this. Everyone is under that same, if you're under a risk area, you're under that same threat all the way through tomorrow morning. Actually, let's pull this up because this will give people a good idea of who's the most likely impacted area. You see that tornado watch in effect until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Union County is included in that. Pontotoc, Lee, Yalobusha, Calhoun, Lafayette, Tippah, Alcorn, Prentice, Tishomingo. I would say Tish, I'm sorry. But Tishomingo County, all of those included in a tornado watch until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. That being this morning. We're 5 hours away from that. So it's still a primed environment for these storms to happen like that. And it does not take anything but that to make them happen because it's such a unstable environment. So looking at what we're seeing right now, we talked about storms over in Yalobusha County moving towards Lafayette. These have gotten more in regards to heavy rainfall, probably some strong wind gusts as well, but in regards to anything tornadic or anything hail producing wise, we're far from that. What's concerning though is it's the only cell in northeast Mississippi. So it's in an environment that's unstable, and so how much of that instability is it going to eat before it produces? And that's what we're tracking. Let's go to the bottom. I'm very behind. South Haven, Olive Branch. I know that it's close. And yes, so they just issued a new tornado warning. So this is probably why those sirens are now going off, because this is associated with a storm back behind the one that just moved across 22. And this is going to be moving in that northeast direction towards South Haven and Olive Branch. So anyone, let me try and find this rotation exactly. I would say it's right there. And I would say that's correct. So as we keep going with that, in that northeast direction, I'll do one for Olive Branch. I'll do one for, oh, why did I forget the town? For South Haven. So here's Olive Branch as it moves closer. We're talking about 131. South Haven will be closer to 124. Now, the path that this takes is kind of varied just a bit. It's kind of gone that northeast direction. Sometimes varies and goes east, sometimes varies and goes way north. But overall, if we're keeping that same northeast track, I would say that it's going in this general direction across I-69, I-55, and then well into the South Haven area by about 124. Yeah, there we go right there. Olive Branch by about 132, something of that nature. So still a ways away from those. Talking about 20 minutes or so, but go ahead and get to that safe place, get to where you need to be. And yeah. Can you do times for all storms? Yes. So all the storms that we need to be worried about right now was the one I just listed. And then also this one closer to 22, just south of Byhalia, moving across Warsaw and Victoria. Still, I believe, I would say that's still producing. Not as defined as a debris signature, but definitely something that we'll continue to keep an eye on. And being that this has produced, I mean, you're seeing at the top, large tornado, considerable damage. That's all you need to know of what night it's been for this storm right here. So let me take this out and go in that northeast direction. Warsaw 102, Victoria 106, Sladen 121. Expanding things out, and I can do a long track on this as it moves in that. This is having it move a bit more east than what I believe it should be going. So I'll have it taking a similar path to what that tornado took earlier. And you can see several towns listed in there. So if you are in those towns, go ahead and have that safety plan ready, especially if we're talking about Walnut, 156, Middleton, 2 o'clock. That's nearly an hour away. And so it's going to be a while before you see it. And so it's just a matter of, will it continue to live? Will it continue to take that energy? And will it continue to produce a tornado? M.dot camera just caught that tornado going across I-22. Oh, I did not even think about that. Okay, let's pull up an M.dot camera here real quick. Were you aware of what camera it was? Probably Victoria, I would assume. Let's pull it up. I have something. See if we can see it. I mean, you can see the energy. I mean, that's a clear-cut indicator. This is on the west side. So let me make this smaller. I don't want to completely cut it out. Let me get closer here real quick so I can kind of see what we're looking at. Fix out all of this. And I had it in Victoria. Yeah, that'd be looking right into it. Let's go ahead and pull that back up and just see if we can find it. I would argue that's right there in the center. Yeah, I want to say that's it in the center right there. You guys are saying PDS on this? Yeah, I see that right there. So PDS on this tornado out towards sections of Victoria. This is looking west out of Victoria through one of our M.dot traffic cameras. Trying to see. I mean, it looks like it's right there in the middle. And that would make sense. These cars are not helping with their headlights. Honestly, these cars don't need to be driving on 22. And please get out of the road if you are driving. Yes, Kirsten, they are still on the road and they do not need to be. Now this should be moving across the screen from, let's see, from you guys, this would be from left to right. And okay, there. The cars are gone. Let's see if we can find it through these strikes of lightning. Okay, I'm gonna shrink it and see if we can find out where this is. So latest scans still have it. Should be going right over the top of Victoria. This M.Cam should get it. I'll drag this. No. Alright, that lightning's getting closer. Mahalia just started hailing. How big of a hail, Reagan? Or how big of a stone? I guess you just don't get one hail. Yeah, I saw a funnel cloud too, Joey, on this. At first, I'm not getting as clear of a view on this right now. I'm going to take it full again because it should be going right over the top of it right now. And please do not be like these drivers. Please do not be on the roads right now. This is not where you need to be. This is Victoria, Mississippi right now as the tornado is moving closer and closer. Okay, they are saying, golly, this is an energetic storm. They aren't getting signs of a debris signature anymore, fortunately. So we might see something elevated right here. I'm very curious what that is blocking the top half of the screen. Yeah, do not be driving on these roads. This is not what you need to be doing right now. Oh, it went south. Let me see if I can change it. That might not be working. It doesn't look like any of the other cameras are working, so it might just be that Victoria one, but I think it just went past the uh, Victoria M.Dot camera. Let me clear that out here real quick. Yeah, so it's past Victoria right now. Looking at the latest scans, still getting a strong couplet. You're getting that inflow though. That inflow honestly gets confused for debris sometimes, but fortunately it is not. And because that would be a large batch of debris, and we don't want that. But yeah, that's a side lobe interaction from the radar site, not debris that we need to be worried about right now. Looking at the latest of those cells out there towards Yellowbush and Lafayette County, so far, not seeing anything of concern. Curious if this one is still on the ground. I would say it still is. Man, it's awful. That is awful. Hey, John, I'm glad you're parked because you don't need to be driving out in this. Let me just look through comments. So far, no one is under a tornado warning in Northeast Mississippi. It looks like this warning just got extended and it is going to go north of Tippa. So we are talking about Benton included in that. My only issue with that is this could go to Middleton again. And Middleton, as we know, just got impacted by the tornado that's still on the ground in southern Tennessee. So the last thing they need, not that anyone needs it, um, but is to be hit again. So hopefully that is not the case, and hopefully this just please God let it lift. Well, listen, I'm glad you signed up for Weather Call. Again, there's just you need to have ways of getting alerts because tonight is going to be busy in the weather world, whether you're asleep or not. And I don't want it to be where there's a tornado warning over the top of you. You decided to get a couple Z's and you're not able to wake up. So just to be on the safe side, have ways of getting alerts. Um, Let me see. So Middleton, let me do a time here in a second. Um, as this moves more in that northeast direction. Let me check this here for speed. I do want to make sure that's right if I am going to show this reaching Middleton again. Because, okay, I'd say that's about to produce again. So let me do the speed on this here real quick. So I would say that we're still going to treat it like 50 miles an hour. It is a few miles an hour slower, but we're going to be on the safe side and just go ahead and do a storm track on this for 50 miles an hour as it moves in that um, northeast direction. Let me do it on the rotation. And Middleton is going to be included in this. Middleton, we're talking about 159. That is 46 minutes from now. It's what 113. And so we know that there was just a damaging storm that went through there. And we know that it's a devastating scene right now. So please go ahead and find that safe place. If it needs to be the next city over, go ahead and do that. If you need to call a friend to come get you, then go ahead and do that because we need to be in a safe location. This is a strong tornado that has produced for several miles earlier. It has a very large chance to do that again. Multiple homes destroyed west of Senatobia on Waverly Circle. It's not something we want to hear. Hopefully, no lives were lost. Hopefully, everyone was where they needed to be, and they were in their safe place because we do not want any lives lost. Of course, property, we don't want that lost either, but luckily that can be replaced. Lives cannot. And so hopefully that everyone is doing what they need to do. That's why we're promoting so many things about you guys staying safe is because we want no lives to be lost in this event. I'm trying to look at the latest for Hernando and South Haven. I see a few people asking about DeSoto County. So far, it's that broad rotation. Not seeing anything that's saying debris, fortunately. This is one of the weaker rotations that we've seen tonight. So weak that it almost doesn't line up with the reflectivity. So I'll do a best judgment on where the rotation is as it moves more in that northeast direction. And you can see olive branch included in that. I'm going to go. Okay. What questions you guys got? And Middleton, definitely be on high alert. He hasn't mentioned your town since Friday. Yeah, I will say, and we'll pull it up again. So I feel like it needs to be stated too much rather than too little. That a tornado watch is in effect tonight through Thursday morning until 6 a.m. Now, is this going to be the only tornado watch we see? It is not. It is a very active pattern for the next couple of days, and I've seen several people mention the next 72 hours. I myself have mentioned 72 hours because that front that's sitting out towards our northwest stays there for Thursday, for Friday, before it finally swings on through on Saturday. So Saturday is our best chance for severe weather, but that doesn't mean we won't see stuff in advance, and that's why that tornado watch is in effect, not for our entire viewing area, but you can see Highway 6 north, excluding Itawamba County. Well, I guess that's 22 at that point. So never mind. Highway 6 north, we'll be seeing that tornado watch in effect. Let me check this real quick. So Hardin County, Tennessee. So that's a Tennessee. Disregard that. That's a 1:16 a.m. in the morning mind. Oxford, looks like you guys are just dealing with a few thunderstorms in the area, but overall, I would not say you have anything immediate to note. Unfortunately, just going to be a good steady rainfall. Andrew, are these storms overperforming? I mean, keep in mind we had a high risk today, and our entire viewing area, except for the Golden Triangle and South, was under a severe weather risk. So I would say this is verifying exactly how we expected. Now, they did move a little bit more east earlier today than what models were projecting. And so that's what kind of prepared us for tonight. Whenever we saw models and what they did, it was telling us, all right, let's go ahead and move these a little bit eastward. And so that's where whenever we got that warning in northern Tippah County, that was just using the forecasting technique and forecasting tools to point out that that was probably going to be the same pattern. And sure enough, it was. I mean, you look at this one, another one moving just on that eastern path. Um, Unfortunately, closer to Middleton. I'm trying to look at something that is a clear, defined debris signature. Let me zoom in real close. And I always like using rings. That might be back on the ground. It could be on the ground again. That definitely lines up. Yeah, it's on the ground again. Okay, that for sure confirms it now. So back on the ground, we are seeing a confirmed tornado moving through parts of. Are we in Marshall County yet? Yes, Marshall County, north of Holly Springs. That is moving more into northern Benton County. Yeah, that is a confirmed tornado on the ground. We can clearly see that with the debris mode right there, seeing that line up with the couplet and seeing that line up with the reflectivity. That's a confirmed tornado yet again in North Marshall County, north of Holly Springs, doing a storm track on that, moving at about 50 miles an hour. We'll see that reach Sladen 121, Early Grove 125, Michigan City 134, LaGrange 137, Grand Junction 140. Now, I do want to expand it out and see if we can find it. There it is. Middleton 159, Hebron 202. I mean, we're worried about everybody in this path, but they've already been hit by a tornado, and the last thing they need is to be hit again. So hopefully there's not a part two. Hopefully there's this lifts and is no longer a concern. But you can see this is a strengthening, rapidly strengthening storm, and unfortunately rapidly strengthening tornado. I do apologize. So Walnut is not in the area, and I see Corinth in there too. So if we are doing a track on this, as it moves, I expect to go northeast. I do expect it to go north of Walnut, and I do expect it to go north of Corinth. But if it does happen to take a more eastern path, there's a few times listed in there. We're talking about Walnut 155 and Corinth about 221. Now this is not expected to be the path. This is expected to go northeast. But if it were to take more of an eastern path, there's a few times listed in there that you guys can pay attention to. But you can see by the polygon that they've issued, moving in that northeast fashion. I mean, not even including Tippah County. So that shows you the path that they believe it to go. And I agree with them. Um, I just hope it lifts, honestly, because that's a confirmed. Yeah, and they just did the confirm tag on it. So what we were thinking with that right there is verifying for everyone else as well. So we have confirmed a tornado on the ground. Moving into Sladen, I'll do a storm track on this as I know we do have friends in Marshall County that need to be on the safe side. Let me make sure this lines up with that rotation. Let me adjust it just a little bit. So there's a few towns listed in there. Latest one, debris still happening. So it shows the tornado is still on the ground. Roberts Chapel 124, Latter-day Saints Church 128, Rice Chapel 128, Berry Chapel 132, and Hickory Grove Church by 132 as well. Again, this is a tornado on the ground. It is moving northeast through across Highway 72 as we speak, and unfortunately a very similar path from what we saw earlier. It might be slightly west from what we saw earlier, but man, we do not need another one of these. I just want to see if this is still. So it looks to be lifted. Let me see when this lifted. There you go. Over by Morris Chapel, Holtzville, before dissipating out, it looks like. So, what are we talking about? Is that a 30-mile path almost? That's unreal. I'm going to go to the latest. That is. Hmm. Just leave you speechless seeing something like that. And hopefully, folks are taking their safe place right now because Sladen is about to get hit by this tornado, a damaging tornado on the ground, moving south of 72 through Sladen into parts of Early Grove. Looking at the latest on that cone, just to show areas that are about to be impacted, we're talking Early Grove, 125, New Bethel Church, 128, Hickory Grove Church, 130, Berry Chapel, 131. If you know of anyone in this path, tell them right now, we have a dangerous tornado on the ground. We need to get to our safe place, and we need to stay there until this passes over. As you can see, a very large debris ball being lofted into the air as we speak. I'm going to work real quick to see how high that debris is. So bear with me one moment while I pull that up. No, this should stay outside of our viewing area. So I don't think we need to go live. We'll just keep it on live stream. Let me change this over. Tornado emergency. Yep. Exactly what we were thinking. Just awful. Moving near Sladen. Guys, if you know of anyone in Sladen right now, tell them to get to their safe place. Sonny, if your brother's on 72 right now, please tell him to get to his safe place as we speak, especially if he is in the path of this tornado, this dangerous tornado that is confirmed to be on the ground. We do not want him in this path. So please go ahead and tell them to get to their safe place and stay there until this storm clears. Um, Yeah, they're saying this is a huge tornado. Would not surprise me. A large, strong tornado, catastrophic damage. So that just shows you what's happening right now as we speak. That tornado debris signature. I apologize. I mean, that's massive right there. That's all you need to see to understand that we have a large, damaging tornado on the ground as we speak, and this is continuing to produce major damage in the area. Now, let me do a cross section of this real quick to see how high that debris is being lofted, and we're talking about saying 20,000 feet. 20,000 feet, I believe, is EF3. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I believe that's EF3 as we speak. And I'll show it to you guys what I'm looking at real quick. And basically what we do is we take a cross section of the debris being lofted into the air. And is that pulling up? What's going on with that? Does it work? Let's see. I don't know if it'll work. But basically 20,000 feet. You can take my word for it. Most definitely an EF3, at least an EF3. Yeah. Okay. So EF3 damage being produced right now, based off of the height of which this damage is being lofted into the air. So we understand that this is a large tornado moving across Sladen as we speak. Might just move just east of the downtown area of Sladen, but still it's close enough. We need to be in our safe place. Looks like it's moving along 72 as we speak, moving through Early Grove here in the next couple of minutes. That new debris signature showing it just south of Early Grove, southwest of Early Grove. This is going to be a tornado-producing storm. Let me extend it out here real quick and get you a more detailed storm track as this continues to move in that northeast direction. Early Grove, if you're not in your safe place, now is the time to do so. Now, really, 5 minutes ago was the time to do so, but better get there now. We're talking about an EF3 strength storm here in the next couple of minutes. Hickory Grove Church by 1:30, Do Right Church 1:31, Anderson Grove Church 1:35, LaGrange Elementary School 1:36, and the entire LaGrange community talking about 1:36 as well. So Early Grove be in that safe place. If you live along 72 in northern Marshall County, be in that safe place as well. This is going into parts of Benton County here in the next couple of minutes. You can see that county line right there on the east side of Early Grove. So this is a Very, very strong cell, very strong tornado, still on the ground and moving east northeast here in the just reading. It's devastating, devastating scene out there. They are reporting here in the North Mississippi Storm Chasers chat that there are entrapments on Waverly Circle. We know that's just outside of Senatobia. So just getting the latest information on this, guys. So forgive me if I'm not talking for a second. Um, I'm trying to look at the latest. Middleton, I hope this steers clear of you guys. Based off what I'm seeing, and we're still a ways away, so I want you to go ahead and treat it as though it's headed your way, but hopefully this does go slightly north. I kind of see it going in this path right here, as you can see, just slightly north of Middleton, but if it does go in that more southern direction, here's the time for Middleton that you can see right there, 2:01. We were talking about 2 o'clock earlier, so about 2:01 extending into Middleton. And the reason why I'm stressing Middleton so much is because of the damage that was just experienced moments ago from a 30-mile long tornado, a very long-lived tornado. So LaGrange 138, Grand Junction 141, Salisbury 148, Van Buren 151, Rogers Springs closer to 155, Hebron 204, Pocahontas 206, Hornsby 210, and Rose Creek 217. I know Rose Creek might have just stayed out of the warning last time, but possibly in the path of this damaging tornado. Still looking at it, still producing, still confirmed. Still trying to see if there's any reports. They're saying 19,000 feet on that latest debris ball, so still being lofted at EF3 strength. Yeah, please say a prayer for the community right now, because this is not something that anyone should have to go through. As you can see, a damaging tornado, debris being lofted 19,000 feet. We're talking about 19,000 feet in the air, and that's massive. That's EF3 strength. And so that's moving into Tennessee, and I know it's not in our viewing area, but still we can pray for others around us and take a moment for their protection and just like let God lay a hand of protection. That's all we can ask for. So across 72 right now, east of Sladen, still waiting on reports of Sladen, Early Grove getting closer and closer to you, probably over the top, I would say right now, based off of scans, and they're about to come in with the latest. But continuing, I mean, just I'll continue to give times because that's all we can do right now. And we have 129 Early Grove. It's over the top of you guys right now. So if you're not in your safe place, 5 minutes ago was the time to do so. I hope you guys are where you need to be right now. I will check in a second, Elena, because this did just reconfirm. This is not the same. It's from the same cell from earlier, but that did lift, and now it's touched back down again, re-intensified, and so that's why it's yeah. So that's why it's a new tornado emergency. It's not the same one that we saw earlier. It's the same cell, but not the same tornado. But I can look at that here real quick to show you, just because I see a couple of people asking. So where I got that first confirmation was these two pixels right here. I point with my finger, like you guys can see that. So I'm trying to remember to use the mouse. So if we remember that right there, and I'll hold my finger on it, and we go to where it is right now, we're talking about 8 miles, 8 miles along the leading edge. South Haven, I'll take a look here real quick just to do an assessment overall of what we're seeing across the area. And so far, I mean, this is definitely the most intense storm. Rotation, I mean, we're seeing some high wind outputs over there towards 55 on east side of Coldwater and Hernando. but nothing like what we're seeing up in the northern part of Marshall County, moving into Benton County as we speak. I'm going to keep an eye on storms happening just south of there, as we do want to make sure they're okay. So far, Oxford, Union County, both looking fine. A few showers close to Hickory Flat and Darden, moving just north of Myrtle. But New Albany probably going to get a few showers too, but not seeing anything like what we're seeing up north, fortunately. Um, Again, it's just a devastating scene happening right now. It's now moving east into Benton County, still showing. Let's see what's going on with NWS Memphis. Because apparently there was a power hit over in Memphis. That's what's been happening. Hang on a second, guys. This is past. Um, I didn't even catch this. Yeah, so this is past. So what happened was Memphis radar went down, and now we're having to look through Monroe County. So it's a bit of more of a ways away, but you can still see that defined rotation right there. And looking at the latest in regards to debris shows a pretty strong debris signature right there. So yeah, yeah, we're still seeing debris being lofted high up into the air, even from Monroe County. I mean, that's just how massive this is. Now, getting a defined look at that rotation, it's going to show way, way high up in the air, just because that's how radars work. But we can still give a storm track on this as it moves more in that northeast direction. I know they're working on uh, getting that radar back up, so hopefully we can get that here soon, as we do have a very strong and damaging tornado on the ground. LaGrange 138, as we've been mentioning, Grand Junction 142, Hickory Valley 150, and Van Buren by about 152. I want to expand things out and look at the long track of this, and I know it doesn't look like what we saw earlier because it's a radar site so far away. But I know this is a very similar path from what it was a moment ago. Let me look and see what's happening all over, just to stay on top of things. This is still definitely the most defined one that we're tracking, especially looking comparatively speaking at the other cells. Mentioned those showers. Yeah, they're past New Albany now because the radar was down for about 8 minutes and now moved north of New Albany. Brittany, at this point, it's more than 8 miles. Looking at the latest, because the radar went down, what I believe to be 131 was actually 123 time wise. So I'm going to go ahead and expand things out to where I can find that debris. And I'm going to have to really pinpoint this to where, you know what? I know what to do. Give me one moment. So there it was right there. Then we're going to swap it over to this and look at the debris. I go from I would say we're at over 15 miles. It's still tough to say with how far it was, with how far it is away from the radar, but over 15 miles, I would for sure say. Walnut was hit. When? With the earlier storm? Yeah, I hope Middleton dodges this one. I will say, Middleton, you are not in the clear just yet. And they are going to reissue a warning here soon. I'm curious to see um what they issue here. Kennedy Road and US 72 reporting severe damage. So Kennedy Road and US 72. Where was that? Right here. Probably crossing into Early Grove. I'd say Sladen to Early Grove. I'd say it's right in this general area. I got you, Amber. Man, talk a lot and you start losing your voice. So, and also the pollen isn't helping with anything. Well, Joe, fortunately, it's not in our area, so Matt's able to go to sleep. If this was all happening in our area, trust me, Matt would be right here, and probably John too. But fortunately, this is out of our area. Again, unfortunately, it's out of our area. Unfortunately, it's happening. But we're just kind of tracking storm by storm for people that people may know in our area to give them a heads up and to give them as much as possible. So that's why we're just staying on top of it because so far in our area, hey, look around. It's not much to see. It's really just along that northern part of Mississippi into Tennessee. So far, yeah. So far, staying out of our viewing area. Now, it has been close calls. We had that one go through northwest Tippah County, but looked like nothing produced until it went north of Walnut. I was getting reports of some people saying that there was damage in Walnut. I want to go back and look at that here in a moment whenever this dissipates out, hopefully here soon. But as you can see, there's still debris being lofted well into the air. Let me see if Memphis is back online. They are not. As you can see, I mean, the scan is forever ago. That was the same scan at 123 to 136 now. So hopefully they can get that back up and running. Give me 1 second here real quick. I'm going to get a drink of water. What was that? There's pollen everywhere. Well, Sonny, I hope he's being safe right now. We don't want anyone to be impacted by this at all. Walnut Lake is pretty bad with trees down. Now, guys, you're going to have to tell me because I've not been to northern Tippah County, I don't think ever in my life. Walnut Lake, is that on the northwest east side of town? No, Mackenzie, Matt is not going to be asleep for 72 hours. Probably wishes that was possible, but yeah, he's just going to sleep tonight until he needs to get back up and at him. I'm trying to see where this. I'm about to just look it up on my phone. That's probably what I'll do. Do what?
I had it.
Where is that in relation to Walnut? Oh, it's way northwest.
It's like right up underneath the Pontiac.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because that's where the rotation went through was far northwest. Um, so yeah, Walnut Lake, I'm not surprised at all. Northwest side, north of 72 is Walnut Lake. Gotcha. Yeah, Grand Junction on the ground still for sure. Definitely get to your tornado safe place as we speak. Again, we're having to look from a ways away for this tornado because the radar went down in Memphis, but we can still definitely tell that this is a confirmed tornado moving into parts of Salisbury, across 57 there in parts of Tennessee. Basically, going to follow, I would say follow 18, but it's going to follow generally that path. Looking at that rotation, that's what I'm going to use to drive this storm track. I think it stays just north of Middleton. Middleton, I don't want you out of your safe place just yet, just to stay on the safe side. But it looks like it's trending more on the northern side. Van Buren 153, Lisbon 202, Hebron 205, Lacey 205, Hornsby by about 211. Just does not look good. Looks like it's back up yet. Okay. They said it's back online. Let's see the latest scans. Don't you love that about radar? How it was so far ahead and now it's so far behind in regards to the positioning of that. Thank you, Kay. I did not see that earlier, but yeah, this is why having radar close helps because we had it over LaGrange. Now it's back a little bit southwest. So let's go ahead and do a storm track on this from the debris signature as it moves closer to Van Buren. So LaGrange, we're talking about 144, and these are better times. So go ahead and take this as as set in stone. Grand Junction 148, Hickory Valley 156, and Van Buren 156 as well. Now the issue with this is it will struggle pulling data over the last several minutes. Let me make sure. Hang on a second. Are we on the latest scan? We are. Kind of. I'm going to reposition this path because, and zoom things out. I just got to reset because I was used to not having Memphis. Now we have Memphis back. So there we go. There's the path I'm on. LaGrange 143, Grand Junction 147. I saw some people commenting about Grand Junction earlier. Yeah, it is just west of Middleton right now. Hopefully it stays out of Middleton forever because I know Middleton doesn't want to deal with that. No one wants to deal with this, so hopefully it just lifts and it's no one's problem anymore. Salisbury 153, Van Buren 157, 209, Hebron. Latest scan still has this as a dangerous tornado on the ground. You can see that right there. Darker debris signature showing. Let's see real quick. If you guys haven't yet, just go ahead and say a prayer. This is a very damaging tornado. We're talking about EF3 strength with a lot of this. After what was believed to be about an EF3 strength tornado moved through about an hour ago, around the same general path. I want to go back and look here real quick to show over time how long this has been on the ground for, because we saw it when it was 2 pixels just starting at 115. And I'm going to mark that and go to where we're at now. 18 miles and 28 minutes so far that it has been on the ground consistently for. After producing a tornado that I believe went about, no, it was 28 miles up there. I forgot how long it was on the ground for before. So, tornado in Grand Junction is around EF1, EF2. EF1 on that. Let me see the debris height on it. I just want to see it. So give me a second to pull this up real quick, and I'll let you guys know what we find. Going to have to work on this for a second. So just under 20,000, I would say 18, 19,000 feet still, which is, I believe, still on the EF3 side. Alex, the weather will be affecting our viewing area basically all night long. And I'll expand things out and do a general overview of what we're seeing. So let me go ahead and reset and show you guys how little action there is happening. Fortunately, I mean, we don't want action, right? Seeing those showers pop up along western sections of our viewing area. Nothing of note so far. Really, the heaviest thing that we have on radar is up around Tippah County, and that's just this heavy thunderstorm showing a few strikes of lightning, but not really showing anything of too great of significance so far. Latest scans, I mean, it just continues to show a good heavy downpour, but a lot of our area, especially along and north of Highway 6, currently under a tornado watch, that lasting until about 6 a.m. So we're seeing those counties listed in blue. If you're in any of those counties, that means your environment's very conducive for bad weather to happen, including tornadic weather. That's why that tornado watch is there. And we'll track that storm here in a second, William, with that storm heading towards Middleton. But here's a look at the unstable environment that we're under. Guys, you're seeing mid to upper 60s. And the front isn't even here yet. That's why Arkansas saw so many tornadoes and so many tornado warnings, is because that front was right there pushing and initiating those storms to happen. So with mid to mid to upper 60 dew points, then it allows those to initiate even better with a forcing mechanism, of course. So that front, we're trying to take all that forcing from the front that's a whole state away and initiate these storms right here and allow them to continue to build in a very unstable environment. So even though your county is not listed in a tornado watch, I would still pay attention to the weather because you're seeing a very unstable environment and temperatures tomorrow will be warm. Don't you worry about that. So all of that coming together to show you that our environment is primed. I mean, who walked outside today? Surely everybody. And who felt the miserable conditions that we were under? I didn't want to be outside for longer than 5 minutes. And so that just kind of shows you that summer-like air was hot, it was muggy, and it was just allowing these storms to really, really get going. And that's why we had so much action earlier today. That's why we're seeing so much action right now. I want to look at the latest scans on this storm. Still producing. So we do have a storm chaser heading up to Selmer as we speak. And I want to take a look at, let me make sure I'm not missing anything so far. One second. So he's heading up to Selmer, and I hope he stays safe. Because where Selmer is, let me try and find it. It's right there. So he's heading up to Selmer, and he's going to assess some of the damage that just happened with that tornado warn cell up here. And honestly, if we look at that, I want to say they're still saying, I believe they're saying still on the ground. Let's see. I don't know if that's still on the ground. It's far away from the radar site, so we can't really confirm it too much. But being that we know what it's produced, I mean, guys, we tracked that all the way from Benton County, honestly, from Marshall County. So you're seeing how far that went. Long-lived tornado entering a very unstable environment. This one following that same path just shows you how quickly that atmosphere destabilizes because of those southerly winds. Middleton, yep, I did see someone just list that. The new warning has been issued, and we are going to do a storm path on that as it continues to move in that northeast direction. And you will be included. I'm praying, and honestly, I'm praying that everyone just is not affected by this. But Middleton, it looks like it might stay just north of you. You guys are in that polygon, so I'll adjust this as need be for folks in Middleton. But Lisbon 203, Hebron 206, Ceres 209, Rose Creek 219, Falcon 224. I want to do a more detailed storm track right here, and what we're tracking is this debris ball right to the east of Grand Junction as I list out those towns in the path. And Middleton, I'm going to exclude you for right now because this is what I believe the path to be based off of what models have trended. And just take a picture of that, send it to friends you may know. Van Buren 155, that's about 6 minutes from now. Rocky Springs Church 157, Burnett School 2 o'clock, Lacey 208, Hebron 207, Lisbon 204, Hornsby 213, Robertson 221, and Sandy Flat Church. Now let me adjust this as need be because I want to show Middleton what the time would be like closer to them. Middleton 205, so 15 minutes from now. And I pray in 15 minutes, honestly less now because that has now moved since the last scan. Still a confirmed tornado. And I think this is still steering north of you. And we do another one just in case. .204, 14 minutes. And I pray in 14 minutes that it's going well north of you and that the recovery process can begin because this is still a confirmed tornado. It's still a very large confirmed tornado at that. Selmer, let me pull it up. So this is going to be a very, very long track. But I know I have some folks asking about Selmer. And this is Selmer, Tennessee. So I just want to make sure you guys know that. And Selmer is in a more immediate path. We're talking about 223 moving at about 50 miles an hour. So, okay, I tell him to get to a safe place. He has about 22 minutes before this is going to be over the top of them. And him and whoever he's helping needs to get to their safe place. I believe it will go north of Middleton. I'm praying that continues to be the case, but for now, since you guys are in that warning, go ahead and get to the safe place, just to keep track of this because it's close enough, and you guys are still in a warning. Corinth is going north of you guys, so Corinth does not need to be worried. Yeah, Sunny, it's still on the ground. It's been a massive storm for quite a while. Okay, so let me look at the latest trends. Let me see the path of this. Let me just make sure I have the path right. Walnut, this is going north of you guys. You guys will get a shower, just a nice little shower, but not a tornado with anything immediate. What was that, Susan and Kennedy, that you guys are wondering about? Yeah, anyone in Selmer, if you know of anyone in Selmer, spam their chat and tell them to get to a safe place now. They need to get out of there. The cleanup process can continue later, but now is not the time to do it. They have, look at the latest track. Let me pull it up for you guys, because this is still a confirmed tornado. There's your look at Selmer, 225. Saw 223 earlier, and that's what I want to treat it with. I want to say 20 minutes from now is what they have to get out of there. Brianna, I'll tell you what I've told everybody. Have ways of getting alerts if you are looking to go to sleep, because this is going to be a threat that continues well into the overnight and well into your Thursday morning. Talking about 6 a.m. Baldwin, no immediate threat right now, as is the case for a lot of people in our viewing area. Um, but yeah, seeing video that came out of let me pull it up here real quick. Let me see where this is, and I can show you the picture of it. West of Walnut at 12:15. So this would have been the first one that went through close to Walnut. I'm gonna pull it up on my stream my device. So bear with me for a second. Okay. This was submitted by our North Mississippi Storm Chasers, just showing you one of those wedge tornadoes out of west of Walnut. That was the first storm that went through, and you can see, I mean, the massive wedge right there, and that was the one that went through Middleton. So 3/4 west of Walnut has damage. That makes sense. That's probably associated with that. So I mean, you can see it clearly defined. A big thank you to Adrian for that picture. I know Adrian's headed to Selmer as we speak, so hopefully he stays safe. Hopefully he gets to where he needs to go. He's a trained spotter, so he knows what to do, where to go, and trusting him to stay safe because this is still a dangerous tornado on the ground as it moves through parts of Hebron, closer to Selmer. And I'm going to take the storm track off and give an updated one here in a moment. And I'm checking because I know that you guys said that you're sending stuff on. Yeah, thank you for that picture, Melinda. Send it over to me. And it's tough to keep up with everything sometimes because there's so much going on. But this is a lot going on. Hardin County, I assume that's the same one that we've been talking about. Again, Tennessee counties, not too overly familiar, working to get to know a little bit better, especially closer to Northeast Mississippi, especially when it goes in there. So, um, let me check and see. They're talking about Marshall County. Seeing too much of what they're seeing there. I do see a lot of lightning, and it's definitely a lightning producer, but I'm not seeing anything that's evident of a rotating storm, evident of a tornadic development. Well, Sonny, it's a very interesting setup because our area is primed, a very primed environment, and so it's definitely capable of producing what could be a tornado each day, with our best threat being Saturday. So um, that's the concerning part about it. This environment specifically today was the highest risk from what we're seeing so far. Tomorrow we're under the level 3 for some parts. The next day, Friday, golly, the days are shuffled up here. Friday going to be under, I believe, a level 1 for far northwest, and then Saturday under a level 3. And level 3 covers the entire viewing area. So that's kind of our bullseye day that we need to keep note of, but definitely pay attention for the next two. Um, Well, the line won't go south for a while, and that's the thing about it. So, Andrew, that's the thing about this frontal boundary. Usually we see the front progress on through, take all the storms with it, and then we're dealing with pretty skies the next day. Not going to be the case this time. The air is still going to be sticky and muggy tomorrow and hot. And then for your Friday, the same thing. Saturday, the same thing. And then finally, Sunday. Sunday, we should be much calmer. Golly. So, just to show you how strong this storm is, which latest scans are not as impressive. I hope that is the trend. Um, but Adrian telling me that the inflow tail from the storm is visible all the way from Selmer, and Selmer is, to give you perspective, 19 miles away. Okay, so that storm that they were talking about, saying that there was rotation back towards Marshall County, now having a severe thunderstorm warning attached to it. I believe, did they have rotation indicated by it? Yes. So they are seeing some rotation along with it. Again, still broad, and it's along that general inflow right there. So tracking that still, but again, that looks like it'll go north. That looks like it'll go along the same path. I want to keep eyes focused on this one near Hebron because I know that there are folks watching from Selmer or that have folks they know in Selmer. So it's better that we just keep eyes on this and continue to tell people where to go, what to do, how to stay safe. So let's continue to just track this out as it moves in that east-northeast direction. You're seeing Hebron 201, Ceres 204, Rose Creek 215, Falcon 220, and Selmer by about 221. So that's the concern right now, as there is still a damaging tornado. But I'm hoping, because these are not as impressive as what they were. I mean, look at this compared to even a few scans ago. See those dark blues coming back and a ball orientation of it. Now very scattered in nature. It doesn't look like there's as much of a confirmed tornado touchdown. Based off that, I mean, golly, you're seeing that wraparound of moisture, but you're seeing that wraparound of moisture, that inflow channel, and that tail. I mean, we were talking about extending all the way to Selmer. I mean, that's pretty apparent right there. Massive hail core associated with it. You usually get hail with these storms, so no surprise there. So going to be something to pay attention to. Just keeping eyes out towards our northwest, making sure. Mary Beth, I did get your pictures. Whew. Swallowed wrong. Um, those are awful. I'm just looking at them. there's several people that are out on these tornadoes right now, just getting video of them. They are trained. So please, we encourage you guys, do not go out in this. If you are in Selmer, please find a place to go, find a place to stay safe, because I know that there are a lot of folks that were impacted tonight. We can clean that up tomorrow. We need to keep our lives safe. Golly, just reading that comment is um, well, we have to get permission to use them, so we can't show them. But if you search on Facebook or anything of that matter, the Marshall County tornado, Senatobia tornado, anything of that, it'll show up. So I'd have to get permission to use them, and they are a little busy at this moment. People trapped in Selmer, Moscow, Tennessee. Is it okay? So again, that should stay north. This same path, there seems to be just an inflow channel that's allowing these storms to initiate. Um, yes, please pray for storm chasers, first responders, and everyone helping. Um, we know that everyone has good hearts and everyone's just wanting to keep people safe and informed. So our thoughts and prayers do go out to them as well. Just it's just devastating seeing what we're seeing tonight, and I hope that no lives are lost, and hope that everyone's just able to see tomorrow, and that we can just continue to pick up the pieces from there. Again, we can replace property, not lives. Yeah, Mary Beth, it was a massive, massive wedge. Whenever we say wedge, it's fitting fitting description of it. Okay, Selmer, latest risk area, latest warning has you guys just outside of it. So hopefully that continues to be the trend. And hopefully you guys don't have to deal with any more damage. So if it takes this track along 45, along 64, we're seeing Series 205, Rose Creek 215, Bethel Springs 221, 40 Forks 225. Now I did see 40 Forks had some damage based off what people are saying in the chat. So remind me if that's happened in the chat here real quick. I know there's some delay. Purdy 227. Middleton, this is going north of you. Praise the Lord. Um, you guys are in the clear for now with that one. We are watching some activity increasing on the back end out there towards Early Grove and Sladen, where they just had a tornado touchdown. That's headed up in that northeast direction yet again. But so far, severe thunderstorm warning. Not seeing anything confirming a tornado just yet. Selmer, or what was it? Corinth. Corinth. Get my cities mixed up. Um, oh, Stacy. We just want to see everyone make it safe. That's all we care about. But I appreciate that. Corinth, you guys are in the clear. That's what I was trying to say before I stumbled on my words. So, Corinth, you are good to go for now. Again, I've talked to everyone about this. Please get ways of receiving alerts. I'm going to put them back up here so you guys can see it. And you'll see it over on that side right there. WTVA.com/weather call, a great way to get those alerts. WTVA weather app, weather radio. I know my wife and I, we have the weather app, and we get alerts all the time. We hear Matt's voice telling us that lightning is 10 miles away, and we appreciate those. But we really appreciate them whenever we hear tornado warning or anything of that matter. It keeps my family safe, and I know it'll do the same for yours. And it'll wake you up, whether you like it or not, and tell you what you need to do. So, yeah, it's a great investment and something to keep you safe because, again, your lives are more valuable than anything. So we want to see that happen. Corinth is all clear for now. It's still a busy night. Still need to be weather aware. But if you can sleep lightly, I guess is the term I'm looking for, then that'll be good. Usually on nights like tonight, I can't fully sleep because my mind's always thinking about what's happening, whether I'm here at work or whether I'm off at home, still thinking about weather. So usually that means I can wake up easier. Hopefully you guys are the same. But But I want to continue to watch this and see what's happening with the latest. So far, I'm not seeing anything that is a confirmed tornado. I want to look back towards the west. Just getting some strong wind returns. Considerable damage possible. What that usually means is 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Let me just check this here real quick and see what the winds are showing. 60-mile-an-hour threat considerable. I wonder. Is it hail? It's hail. That's what it is. So whenever you see those purples returning, this is just like one of our hail models that uses the updrafts and several different tools that kind of create what the hail potential is. So those purples returning are above an inch in diameter. So similar to what we got today, I would say that this could be up to 1.5 inches moving through Early Grove and Sladen. So just dealt with a tornado, now dealing with large hail. I mean, just cannot catch a break. Hopefully this is the last, but we know it's a very primed environment. Been talking about it all night. Yes, Corinth people, just be alert. Ripley, Mississippi. I see. I feel like that's the word of the night for now, or I guess 2 words of the night for now, because we know that that can change going forward. And so Ripley, I mean, you're dealing with shower right now, but that's it for now. I don't even have to say it. I'm just gonna point at you guys, and you guys say it for me, um, because overnight could change. You know, Henderson, Tennessee. Tell me where that is. I can look here for you. Actually, handy dandy Google will help me too. Okay, so Henderson, Tennessee is close to north of Selmer. So where am I going? Too far. Henderson right there. So I forgot who said this, but for whoever was asking about Henderson, I'm going to do a storm track on this because this is our tornado warning storm that we've saw for a while now, like since yesterday at this point. But as it moves in that northeast direction, I'm going to take it through Henderson just to be on the safe side and let you know that it's going to be happening about 2:31. So here in the next 20 minutes or so. So try and get a hold of your dad and let him know. But let's go ahead and just go in the past and see what has gone through there in the last 3 hours. I'll list it there. So honestly, based off what I'm seeing, Henderson has not seen anything too significant, depending on where he is, has not seen anything too significant to where I would worry about his well-being right now. But definitely still try to get in touch with him and see. Damage in Sladen on Hogan Road. Walnut is good for now. Might as well make coffee. Yeah, if you're making coffee, make it a double. But no, I'm just kidding. I want to just continue to look at the latest. This is definitely getting more interesting and more organized. So they're having hail at about 2 inches out of that storm in Benton and Marshall County. So said a little bit over an inch. Well, how about we double it? Talking about 2 inches. Tornadoes on the ground, based off what I'm seeing, I mean, you still have defined rotation. Do not get me wrong, up around Hornsby. And we can do a storm track on that as it's moving closer. I mean, you could argue that there's still a tornado on the ground, but that looks more like it's the hail getting some of that reflectivity. I want to see, do we have anything out of is Nashville? Yeah, Memphis is still your best bet. Usually with the where the rotation is happening, you get it right about there. So whenever we line up that rotation, it lines up. The debris, not as much. So let me do it based off of the rotation. Moves in that northeast track. There's the path that I believe it'll go on, and we still have strong rotation associated with that. Some are apartments you said got hit. There's some times I'm gonna get a drink of water here real quick. So give me a second. Trying to see what you guys are asking and hopefully answer some questions since this is out of our area. And I'll go ahead and take it broad. Look at the latest. I'm not seeing anything too major right now. I say that. It's getting more organized. What you're looking at. That wraparound moisture. I'm not seeing anything right now, but I can definitely see a defined inflow. So yeah, they're not seeing anything confirming this either. I agree with that. Still a very classic supercell. There's the warning. Just issued it. And again, somehow, some way, it went north of Tippah County. So looking at the latest on this, we're getting those highest outputs around Michigan City, close to Highway 7. That's going to be moving into close to Benton County. I think it's right over Benton County as we speak. So let me do a storm track on that rotation. There's a few areas that you can include in there. Salisbury, I know you've been in several tonight. I apologize. We're talking about 227. More immediate, we're talking about Blackwell School 216, Wood School 218, Skipper Springs Church 219, and Grand Junction closer to 221. Hunt's Chapel Church 223, and beyond that, Burnett School 237, Rogers Springs 234, Van Buren 232. So busy night, and that's why I say for now, because it can quickly change. South Haven, I mean, you're getting some thunderstorms for sure. Actually, South Haven, you're kind of in a lull at this moment, so enjoy it. Memphis, like Memphis, Tennessee. I mean, Memphis is just getting some showers and thunderstorms. Let me see something. Okay, so I'm gonna nerd out here for a little bit. So you see this outflow boundary right here along Marshall County, just southwest of 22. Watch how this is basically leading along that edge. And what this will do is allow those storms to strengthen behind it. So these storms enter into the outflow boundary and they basically build off of it. So I'm curious to see what these storms do in the next 10, 15 minutes or so to see if they strengthen, how they interact with that outflow boundary, and if this becomes a more concerning environment to look for. So if you're in any of the northernmost most counties, that's why I say for now, because things could definitely change here in a bit. Senatobia, you're dealing with a lot of showers. I don't foresee any of those becoming severe anytime soon. So if you have weather call, if you have ways of getting alerts, then I would say you can hit snooze for a little bit, but make sure you have ways of waking up just in case. Our very own meteorologist Chelsea Simmons on the scene. Golly, it's been bad in Tennessee.
I know, I saw. I was watching it.
It's probably two EF3s within like 3 miles of each other.
That's terrible. Oh, that's true.
Selmer apartments are destroyed. Um,
So I tried to catch that one that went over towards Holly Springs on MDOT camera.
we saw it. It was
Did you?
in Victoria. We
See,
saw.
I must have been looking the wrong direction.
Uh-huh. No, if you looked Victoria West,
I'll
the
pull
funnel
up.
was in the middle of it.
Oh, I'll put the camera because I screen recorded it on my phone over here.
Well, it's if there's a way to get archived MDOT data.
See, I had somebody years ago when we were doing severe weather coverage, message me. I guess he had works for MDOT, and he's the person that like turns the cameras.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Let me know whatever direction
Oh my word,
you
that'd be
need to
so
turn."
nice.
And I didn't see it till afterwards.
That'd be so nice.
Have that contact there. No, but it was the one I was looking at was 22 Victoria. I think I moved east. The one looking west against dark.
No, West lit up like a champ. I mean, there were some people in here, and correct me if I'm wrong. We saw a funnel, and it went right over the top of the camera, and the camera was like doing these bright lights and lines.
See this one, and I was probably just the wrong direction. But there's at one point where you can like see the wind going across.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can tell when it went over.
Yeah, I think that's probably when it went over. I was just looking up.
Well, and it was right over the top of it.
I know. I was like, oh, there's like 4 MDOT cameras there. Like trying to pick which one I was gonna not look at.
Well, we stayed void. The only thing I'm curious about is there's outflow boundaries now.
I know. That's what I was looking at. Some of them
Will they eat it up, as the kids say?
will those strengthen.
Will they go through the same area that's been hit by now what's going to be 3 tornado warnings? Selmer, so Adrian went to Selmer, and he's sending in pictures and stuff, and there's a picture of the wedge as it entered west of Walnut.
Yes, I saw that.
So make sure that gets sent up for morning crew.
And then Jay fixed it something in Arkansas.
Yes, he did. And that was just awful damage. I just don't understand why it's the same path every time.
Because they're just not moving. Other than
I mean, it's a stagnant front. Yeah, say a prayer for Selmer, just in the recovery process. And the storms are moving in that same path. We talked about that same frontal boundary, just pushing them along that same line. So, more than likely going to be hit by more thunderstorms. Hopefully, that's all they are is just a couple thunderstorms, but we've seen the damage that these can do. Flash flood warning being issued for DeSoto County. So there's a whole other concern on top of the tornadic threat. So if you know of anyone in DeSoto County, let's take a look at flood warnings here real quick. I'm not going to spend too long on them. But there you go. Hernando, South Haven, Byhalia, Olive Branch, Memphis, all included in flash flood warnings. Typically get those, but the reason why we're getting them today is because I want to say we're at 6 inches of rainfall. Actually, this is not. This is rain today. I want rain like the last 3 days. So I'm gonna find it. I'm on mats, so I love navigating other people's workspace.
looking at the last 48 hours between Hernando and Senatobia, there's one spot that's seen up to 5 inches. And then just west of Memphis, there is a spot that was over 6 inches.
Yeah, so 6 inches, eastern parts of Arkansas, western parts of Memphis, and then South Haven and Hernando, about 5 inches. So, the key word I've been telling people that ask if they can go to sleep, I'll say you're good for now.
Yeah,
But for now.
one day, thanks for noise. I was like, yeah, we got weather call, you got somebody with you up. Okay.
Just be a light sleeper, and you'll be good to go. Someone said they're just going to wait 72 hours and then go to sleep then. It's like, well, that's choice. I can assure you'll be in your safe place. Let's talk about the outflow. How are we doing with the outflow? Grand Junction has gotten more organized, and we know that we've had some tornadic cells move through that area. Middleton, been mentioning your name a little too much here tonight, but you guys are going to need to get to that safe place here because it's heading towards you guys 50 miles an hour. We're talking Middleton 239, 17 minutes from now. So you have a little bit of time to get to that safe spot, but you're going to be navigating damage. And so I hope you've already made that way. I hope you have somewhere to go tonight just to stay on the safe side. But definitely need to take this warning seriously as we could be dealing with another tornado entering into the area. Again, we've seen it does not take much for these storms to just take off. And this one doing that same thing yet again. Has that massive hail core up around Grand Junction, between Grand Junction and Hickory Valley, that's wrapping around that moisture into Michigan City all the way down just on the east side of 18, moving into Salisbury. Now that is going to be what you watch for that tornadic development in this little inflow right there, the inflow notch, and that hail core just getting a bit more prominent. Would not be surprised to see this take off. Honestly, sooner rather than later. Let me see if this lines up so far. Looks to be just inflow. Yeah, that's just inflow right now. So fortunately, nothing confirmed right now. I want to look back up here. Is this reproducing? It sure enough is reproducing. 40 Forks, you wouldn't be getting it. Reason why we're able to see this a little bit more apparent, and let me go over the last couple of scans just to make sure. Do what? Finally, yeah. After like 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, I was watching.
So we're getting those dark returns, which usually that's inflow, but in this case, and especially looking at the latest scans with that vorticity notch of the winds, that's usually associated with the glitch in the radar, which is pretty apparent that there's a tornado forming on the ground, or yes, still something. Let me make sure. At some point. I know. Well, are you ready?
I gotta make I'm not gonna be over there.
Okay. Well, deuces. No, so we'll.
I got my forecast, so.
Okay. Well, all right. So we're gonna wrap it up, being that a lot of this stays north of our area. So.
Oh, why am I so sharp?
Pull it down.
See, this is our issue. The height difference.
Yeah. Sorry, the different
light put up.
Huh?
They were supposed to put me up a light because when I am on camera 3, I'm having to stand up here, so I'm in the dark. So they were supposed to put me a light up here.
We'll see if they do.
They took this light down.
Just bring that spotlight that Matt has over there.
They were like, "She needs backlight." Blah blah. I don't know. I'll be fine. So I'm about to send Gabe home because he has to work later today.
At some point.
And he needs to save his voice for Saturday when more of our area is under the severe weather threat. Since all this is north of here and outside of our area, we're not going to be constantly over here. And since right now it doesn't look like we have any of those storms over towards Holly Springs or Hernando, closer towards Clarksdale. They're weaker than severe weather impacts right now. I'm going to go ahead and close the stream. I will restart it if needed. But those storms that are up into Tennessee right now are still going. And that one closer, just north of Selmer, does have that considerable damage tag. So if you know anybody that is up there, call, check on them. If they're in the path of this, tell them to be in their safe spot. They've already probably been in their safe spot a lot this morning, night, whatever you want to call it right now. Whatever it is for you, it's my morning. But I'm about to cut the Facebook Live off and I will restart it if needed this morning. Hopefully it will not be needed, but